Get ready for the remix. What is going on, everyone? It is me, Atari HMB, back at you again with another stream. How's everyone doing tonight? Did you enjoy the music? Let's go. Looks like everyone was enjoying the music. All right, we got. Let's look at the chat today. Let me go ahead and check this out. Let's see who we got here today. Who we got? Come on, pop out, chat. Yo, Vegeta Scales, welcome. Ron Ziz, welcome. King Zondo, welcome. Texas Toast, what is going on, man? Andre, welcome to the stream. Uncertified Hater, welcome. And we got the Dark Knight. How's it going, man? Ron Ziz, that's a secret. That's a good question, though. Maybe someone in the chat might break it down, but I can't say. No worries, Golden Angel. Just thank you for stopping by in the first place. We appreciate you for coming through. Wow, you guys like... All right, so this is the first time y'all like the secondary song. I like that. Yeah, let's go. All right, so that's good. So the next thing is... So, guys, I'm going to let you know right off the bat, today's stream, we got a lot of plans today. As you can see from my avatar, we got some plans. I'm going to throw on some new drip, but probably later on. First things first, I am going to talk a little bit about one of the many topics that is misconstrued all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and begin that not too long from now. Definitely want to go into detail about that. I've been dealing with people who were all over the place when it comes to this topic. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and begin. But before I do... let me introduce you to a guest we have. Well, it's not even a guest at this point. This is the homie on stream who we have with us today. Raj, you may introduce yourself. Well,
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Roz. How y'all doing?
I just introduced you to them by accident without even knowing. Hey, yo, what's going on, Electron? Welcome so much to the stream. Appreciate you. W. Roz. Woo! All right, so Roz, are you ready for this topic?
You know it.
Mm-hmm. Now we got this... We gotta say it right here. Versus Battle Wiki... We are neither Roz nor Atari. We are the one who will debunk you.
Versus battle. Oh God, nah.
Yeah,
I got some things for that.
Exactly. Like, so remember that person on Comic Vine Enviz? Like, the one thing I would agree with, see, it's not so much that I disagree with them, it's how they came off. If they wasn't rude about it, I would be able to side with them and understand a little bit more with them. But the one thing I will agree with them on is Versus Battle Wiki does keep changing its definitions to make it into arbitrary dimensions. I could agree with that. Obviously, dimensional tiering still matters. Because, I mean, how else are you going to reach beyond the threshold? There are characters who just go beyond infinity. And I guess people can't accept that. It's like, that doesn't make sense. That's not even past the first infinity. I'm like, look, bro, you're overthinking it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, I think that's like appeal to practicality. I don't even remember. It's like appeal. It's not like a false dichotomy technically, but it's like they think, oh, there can only be one method. I think it's like tunnel vision or some type of thing. But yeah, Texas Toast, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Glad you was able to make it. King Zanado edits ask a good question. Would you scale Amazing World of Gumball verse in general? I'd have to watch it, but I do know they
uh,
have a lot of good Toon Force abilities that should not go underlooked.
I mean, Richard getting a job almost destroyed the universe. Every step he took was like changing reality across the entirety of the universe in Gumball. So, I mean, it can get pretty crazy with this Toon Force.
I didn't even know that. That's good to know. See, Roz, I'm glad you're like knowledgeable on these things because you can help answer some of these questions as well. All right, fantastic. Let me go ahead and get breaking down into that now. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things I wanted to bring up is I'm gonna go ahead and close this. So bear with me just a moment, guys. I gotta pull this up for a moment because this one is kind of crazy that people. Let's see here. Just type in infinite speed. Because there are like people on TikTok making fun of me for this video.
As if TikTok has any relevance in power scaling.
Mm-hmm. And
They're the
then,
same. They're the same site that scales everyone to outer freaking Versal.
yeah, my Metacore analysis.
He took down that stream, by the way.
That's good. I mean, good in a way of like not to make fun of, because like again, we aren't here to make fun of anyone, but it's good to see that maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's getting cluttered. Maybe it's like, you know what? I thought about it. Maybe you might have a point. But today we're going to break it down in simple terms. So first, let me go ahead and bring this up for you guys. Let's see here. So this one was a good explanation. I think it's here. Oh yeah, so this one right here. So this one was a good comment. I think Nissan Sparrow is very intelligent. Really nice and civil comment here. It says the ability to move infinite in zero amount of time is actually inaccessible. Here's the equation. And they go over the equation and such. Immeasurable speed is going so fast that you're moving before you even left. Basically, you're moving so fast that
Don't
you're
know,
traveling.
Atari.
What happened? Oh, oh!
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna the thing. I think she's gonna read it, but like, god dang, that's amazing. Hmm. Wow. Thank you so much for coming on to the stream. Thank you for the $5 donation. I'll be certain to answer that question right before I get into this topic. Let me go ahead and see if there's something I can do right here. Roz, I gotta figure out a way to add additional audio because I don't think everyone could hear that donation.
I'm not entirely sure myself.
Yeah. So like yeah, I don't think anyone heard the lady read it because it wasn't picking up on it. So let me just go into my advanced settings real quick and make sure I can capture that next time. All right. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, no. Yeah, so I got to figure out how can I get that to be played. All right. Yeah, so is there a sound source for that? Inactive. Okay. Yeah, there's got to be a way to play that sound. All right, but anyway, I'll read the question out loud since I have one audio to Roz and one not to this, so I gotta go ahead and fix that. Let me see if there's a way to have there's got to be a way to have two desktop audios, right? Maybe. Yeah, Roz, maybe you know about this.
What's up?
I'm trying to get two audios in here. So
What, for OBS?
Yeah, two desktop audios.
It's been a minute actually. I don't remember, if I'm honest, because I haven't run OBS on my system for a hot minute because I haven't been recording nothing.
Right. Okay. Let me see here. Gain catcher. No. Blah blah blah. Microwave. Hold up. No, that's the microphone. Okay, yeah, we could use that. Hold on. Is that? Hello? Hold on one moment. Boom. Is that the same? No. I already have a microphone audio. So that's the wrong one. Hold on, chat. Technical difficulties. Maybe this one? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. No, that's the actual mic again. We'll try this. Default. No, I don't want it to be default. Okay. Well, it's... Okay, hold on. Let me see something. Okay, let's do... Yeah, so for like desktop audio, hold on, Roz. I'm actually going to get you on here still again. I'm just going to do something like this. We're going to go to headphones. Yep. So now they can hear everything. Everything I hear in these headphones, they can hear. Then I'm going to go to close. No. God dang it. Hold on. One moment. Technical difficulties. He sounds like Fuse Zamasu. Oh, because I had the double volume? Yeah. Yeah, probably. Let me see if I can do it again. Hello there, mortals. Welcome to Atari HMV Stream. You will pay for your sins, Negan. Welcome to Atari HMV Stream.
Man, that's the powerful N word right there.
Welcome to Atari HMV Stream.
Man, that's the powerful N word.
I can literally hear you through the Okay, shut up, Zamasu. God dang it. So they probably can't. Wait, Ross, say something. Okay, I don't think it can. Why is it not picking up on you on the earphones? What I hear in the headphones? It's like I should be picking that up. Like it's picking up everything that's coming through the headphones, but it's not picking you up, which means maybe output capture. What's the output? Oh, found it. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. He's a phantom.
Okay. All right, going with the classics here.
All right, now you can say something.
Going with the classics, I appreciate it.
Yes, we did it. Roz, we got you on here. Let's go.
Bet.
All right. Now for this, properties. Okay, how do I move this? I'm trying to cancel and remove this. Rename, remove. How do I remove this? God dang it. I'm trying to cancel it. I'm trying to become Twitter right now, all right?
All right. At least you're honest about it.
All right. So, all right, guys. So you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear Roz. You should be able to hear everything that happened on stream. Let me see here if I can go ahead and replay that audio. I don't know if I can replay the donation. Can I? I probably can. Probably a way. Can I play the donation again? God dang it. Man. I want to play the donation against SpongeBob. Whatever. All right, but anyway, long story short, you got a big question. Let's go ahead and start getting back into it, guys. So now that the technical difficulties are over, let's go ahead and answer the question. Actually, no, I'm going to have her read it again. Hold on. Oh, that was oh. All right. Yeah, all in one live stream. Dismiss. No, I don't care. Yes, dismiss. I don't care. So Roz, meanwhile, while I'm getting this uploaded, anything new happen?
New in terms of?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. I don't even know. But anyway, guys, basically get over the main premises. And they brought up some good points. I was talking about, I think this is well articulated, but the point is I'm essentially making in the video is immeasurable speed has different layers due to the way it is interpreted and is rooted. Since it's speed that can be measured because, or I meant to say speed that can't be measured because the equations of distance or time are removed. So, exactly. Moving a specific distance in zero time is also categorized as infinite speed. Now, however long it takes you to accelerate to that, we're actually going to explain that, but they said it does make some sense, so I'm really glad that they were open-minded to see. But we're going to be explaining that in this stream today. I read the terms of service. Shut up. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's go ahead to my widgets. Blah, blah, blah. No. Shut up. Give me my darn audio. I want to replay what they said again. No, get out of here, you goddamn lion Leawig. Now I sound like the guy from Matilda.
Wow. Wait, classic Matilda or the one with Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. There should be a history, right? A history of donations that you can look into.
I think so. I've streamed on here, but I don't have enough subs to like get donations or anything like that, so couldn't tell you on that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do apologize if I wasn't able to bring it back up. I do want to read it, but it looks like I don't care about your themes or overlays. Anyway, bottom line is he basically said this. Hey, bro, I'm pretty new to this whole power scaling higher dimensional stuff. Came to your stream where you stated Jiren was 11D. Could you explain it real quick? Certainly. So uncertified hater, to basically make the explanation simple, the reason I said Jiren could be categorized as 11th dimensional is more so towards his power, the power he has. This is mainly inspired by the cosmology Dragon Ball follows. So as you can see right here, there's a particular cosmology. This list is something I made, and this list is not even up to date. It was originally because the observable universe was 3D. Turns out we find out it is 3D, but there is a bigger portion. There are pocket dimensions that are all fourth dimensional. The Dragon Ball universe has a past, present, and future, and multiple different dimensions within the time room. The time room is in the manga too, so that's also interesting. And then there's the higher alternate dimensions as well, such as the dead zone, the infinite living world as well, that is combined into it altogether. Then there's the girl space, and then the afterlife as well. So when you add up all of them together and you factor in the macrocosm, which is aka this bubble is bigger than the scared me. Shibai, Otsutsuki, Solo's big three on God. Hey, I mean,
seeing how Naruto.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Andre been sharing me some stuff too, and said even Andre himself said, "Hey, I might have to eat some of my words." Naruto really is crazy, and I agree. Like, it's kind of clear to see. I mean, if Kishimoto wrote Samurai 8, I don't find it difficult to believe. I wouldn't say Solo personally, but I would say him and Yuha are the big dogs of the big three. But definitely, I see where you're coming from for sure. Especially because the way both series can be interpreted. Of course, most the thing is as well is most people we gotta all like if you really want to understand how strong a series is, you gotta sit down and read that whole series. Like if you don't read it as much as Dragon Ball or actually watch it, you're not gonna actually understand the interpretational levels. Of course, it's hard to really tell because Bleach and Naruto be like you like hey are we like star system level or are we like well, god dang pick a one bro, which one are we supposed to be? So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, so sorry, real quick, just to add on to that. Snow, if you're gonna say that he solos the big three, you gotta remember that Bleach would be a part of the big three, and I don't think Shibuya Otsutsuki, based off of what I know, is beating U-Haul
Yeah, I
or the
wouldn't
Soul King
I wouldn't beat
or
a
any of
U-Haul
those.
truck either. I mean, U-Haul is like a really crazy at this point. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Like we got to like if we're
That means he
talking
also
like
solos his own verse as well, which obviously we haven't seen him yet. We don't know what he can fully do in the Naruto verse either. So you can't just say he solos the big three, which includes his own verse,
yeah.
and hype it up. I mean, that's you need more information. We just can't go off of that just yet.
Yeah, but he definitely got some hype stuff going on. I can say that for sure.
Snow, it does have higher dimensional scaling. Bleach does have higher dimensional scaling.
It does. It's that it may not be as blatantly direct, but there are implications that Bleach is. I'll go over that a little bit later, but I want to really answer this question real quick. While we're
Oh
on
yeah,
this topic, how do you know the Xeno realm is a higher dimension? So the Xeno realm at first was a speculated higher dimension, but the reason we know is because one, the narrative implications, it literally is considered its own area and realm. Two, it literally considers the universes within the neutral zone to be just chess pieces, like little orbs. And there's actually a scan that Andre shared it, right? Where they literally have an explanation of it, how it sits on pillars. Like the universes are nothing more marbles over there. So, given that the universes themselves are finite looking objects, I can see how people would feel about it being part of the neutral zone. But the thing is, the Xena world acts like it's the Xeno world is more of the afterlife of the neutral zone, if that makes sense. Not that it actually is the afterlife, but you get what I'm saying. Like the way it's drawn, the way it's narratively implicated. So the data book implies that it's a higher realm of existence, and due to that implication, that's why we go with that. Especially because there are other components in the narrative about like how long it takes for Whis to get there, which I'll explain a little bit about how Whis' speed actually operates, which is kind of funky, and I'll explain that in just a bit. But to kind of help out with that, how high is the Marvel Comics universe? Tari, please refer to the dimensionless realm in Dragon Ball Fighters. All right, I might. Chess pieces compared to a realm isn't comparing infinite to finite. We have no knowledge of the realm's size, Atari. Well, let me ask you this. We know the macrocosms are infinite. So, if I'm treating that same infinite macrocosm as a chess piece, and my world, which is also infinite, why wouldn't it be? And you have to also look at what we call axiomatic information. Axiomatic is usually self evident. Now, think to yourself the living world is infinite, it's stated to be infinite in the Daizenshu. Afterlife, by implication, is infinite. Then we got Koyama confirming, yeah, hell in the afterlife is infinite. So, how can a finite object contain an infinity unless it is a finite higher object of that infinity? So, unless you're saying, like, all right, Zeno's world may be a finite variant of. It might be a higher dimension than the universes, but it might be finite within its own dimensional tier. Sure, but then you have to ask yourself, why would that be the case logically? Because now we have to start challenging the question. So let me get this straight. We went from infinity to infinity to infinity to an infinity that's also been confirmed. And now we go to the neutral zone, which contains infinities, but then we're just going to jump to the conclusion that Zeno's world is finite. Especially with galaxies in the background and it has its own space. I don't know. It's a big stretch, especially because the implication from the Chosen shoe. So that's why we go with that narrative right there. Moreover, regardless, even if it wasn't the case, we do know that the time ring would most likely be a ninth dimension. Oh, by the way, Roz, if I recall right, the dimension Broly Gogeta fought in was and also confirmed infinite with multiple dimensions and was a super dimension, correct?
I do remember it being considered a super dimension. I still remember the full size. I think there's just like multiple of them that they're knocking each other through.
Yeah, because there's multiple dimensions within that super dimension, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of weird for them to just say, yeah, we only have a select few of finite dimensions when narratively it's been consistent that way to always have an infinity greater. But I can totally see where you're coming from. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm saying if we had to pick a likelihood, you know, eh, the likelihood of Zeno's world being bigger, infinitely bigger than than the universes themselves or the macrocosms themselves, I mean, it's a very high chance of that. But again, just just a thought to throw in there. Oh, that's cool. If Seth puts it at 60, I think that's actually very impressive considering where he used to place it at. So that's really good. Anyway, Roz, what are your thoughts? Let's get your thought real quick. I'm gonna go into the speed category soon.
Well, on Xeno's realm.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you think
Honestly,
it does it seem like if we were to put it into I'm gonna just put it into like a binary question. If I had
yeah.
Zeno's world, right, and I'm having you, I'm like, hey man, I need you to scale this realm. But what I'm gonna do for it is first I want you to tell me this. If the macrocosms are infinite and the way the story portrayed Zeno's world, the way the story portrayed Zeno's world, based on the manga as well. If you have these little dudes literally treating these infinite sized macrocosms as chess pieces, and then you see his world is so big, there's an entire galaxy, like galaxies in the background. The gods of destruction went all out and didn't because they can't go all out in their universe, regardless of their key control. They can't go all out or destroy it, as
Yep.
stated by the narrative, both in the manga and the anime. But when they're outside of this macrocosm in Zeno's world, they're not even a threat to a small room. So I'm saying narratively implicated wise, even if let's say even though there's a data book that talks about how they're like marbles sitting there on top of a vast universe of Zeno's world or realm, based on implication, would you say what is the more likely to be the case? Is it more likely Zeno's world is finite and just contains the universes in it, or is it more likely that due to the patterns they've been having, it's infinite?
If I'm 100% honest, I always saw it as a higher realm, possibly even in its own right, just because, like it says, we can see the literal macrocosms themselves on marbles in Zeno's realm. Like, they're literal decorations in his realm, in his palace at that. So, I mean, I don't know what else I need to say because each macrocosm, supposedly, if we say that each Path Rules Universe 7 apply to every other universe,
Right.
they're their own multiverse, essentially.
Yeah,
They're their own,
exactly.
like, low or high multiverse, depending on how you want to look at it. And then you have these 12 multiverses that are essentially infinite in size that are decorations in Zeno's palace and realm.
Yeah. And I think No Name
So,
ask now No Name does ask a good question here where it says, but if it is he says, but Atari, if it treats macrocosms as just chess pieces, wouldn't that be the same for the neutral zone? The neutral zone would be 70, and what you said scales the higher dimension to the macrocosms only. So he brings a good point. Like the space between these macrocosms right here, you would think, okay, well, the space between these macrocosms should be of a higher dimension since it's containing these infinities within itself while also being infinite in distance. What would you say to that based on the information Andre gave us about the data book? Even though we know the Zeno world is, according to the data book we found on that scan, Zeno's world is treated as its own area. It's not considered part of the neutral dimension. But what would you say? I think
I
he
mean,
brings a good point to a
if
degree.
we're gonna go into that, then with the neutral zone, I mean, we'll just bring up when Xeno erased, Trunks' timeline, and when we decided to take a look, it's like, is there anything left? He literally said there was nothing left. All of it was gone. That would include the neutral zone, which would still be its own higher dimension theoretically, because it's what holds, or it's what contains, these large, infinite-sized macrocosms. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say in its own right, it's its own higher dimension, and even then, it still got nuked by Xeno.
Yeah, I think what he's also asking is he's saying like shouldn't Zeno's world be the same tier as the neutral zone? To that, it's I would say it's a little
I would say it's higher if I'm 100% honest.
yeah,
That is, but that is my take personally.
right.
Because it would be weird if Zeno was actually existing within the same realm as the neutral zone that he could just nuke on a whim, and that theoretically anyone should be able to travel through, since that's kind of what Whis needs to use to travel from universe to universe, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
At least the pathway of it, which means that Whis would theoretically be traveling through Zeno's domain,
Ah, that's a
and
good
we
point.
see that that's not the main thing here, because it's a special Kai Kai variant that is needed to get to Zeno's realm that only Whis and the Supreme Kais can access.
Yeah,
If they could
that's
just
very
go
true.
there via speed, that would be a very weird thing to do. If I'm 100% honest.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And Thor's hammer, I agree with you. If you see here, I actually put it as more of a it's a 4D realm. The Room of Spirit of Time is definitely only 4D. It's a time dimension per Elder Kai. I literally give the source says here Dragon Ball Volume 33, page 87. So I try to include every source I can on these statements. So it's right here, Infinite Living World. How do we know it's infinite? Daizenshu 4, page 19, Daizenshu 7, page 77, plus Takeo Koyama. So we got innumerable sources there. GT, Dragon Ball GT, dimension sits in between the living world and afterlife. I put here unknown size of the Seguro space, even though it's infinite because Goku will wander in dimensions forever. But the point is, I know I would. It's like 4 point. Like originally, I had it like here. Obviously, the other world is beyond 5D according to Koyama and according to the other implications because the Garlic Junior realm is 5D itself, which we'll talk a little bit about that later. But there's a reason it is. But again, then there's a Kaishin realm, which is just more like it exists as a higher level of reality, aka authority, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily infinitely large. Just can't really be. But that alone, and then the fact that Zamasu was going to destroy everything contained in the timeline, it makes you think. Hmm. Zamasu can travel between the space between the multiverse and this little brown space. And that's really impressive. And the fact that he could take over multiple timelines and Beerus can feel and sense that energy without even him being present. Oh,
Couldn't those universe marbles/orbs simply be representations of the universes themselves, considering the pillars holding them are only slightly taller than regular people?
hey, that's a really good question. Thank you so much for the comment. Thank you so much for the donation, uncertified hater. I appreciate it. That is a very good question. So, would we consider the marbles to be simple representations? To a degree, you can. But also, to a degree, we have to factor in that when we say that, we're not saying that Goku can go there and just throw the marbles away and blow them up. Because we ultimately don't know. The reason we know it's not representations, however, though, is literally, if I recall, the data book itself literally speaks about it. Andre, if you are watching the stream, I do have a request for you. You think you could send that scan that you had for the proper translation? Because I do want to at least show them. So they at least have an idea. And you remember that, right, Roz, that scan you was talking about?
Yeah, I remember. It might be in the chat that the three of us share.
Yeah, so let's get it into the secret hideout. The Eisen realm. Tolson, Gin, and Eisen. No, just kidding. As in, Why do you scale those other dimensions fifth dimensional though? Oh, sure, Thor. So the reason is because Garlic Jr. So to answer your question, a Garlic Jr.'s hyperspace is 4D because it's a hyperspace, which by definition is literally more than one spatial dimension. It's more than three dimensions. So if the spatial portion is more than 3D, then you add the temporal realm to it because it still abides by time. Then there you go. Boom. 5D. So under that premise, it would fall under 5D, which makes sense because the time room contains the past, present, and future, which is canon to the manga. And if you have the past, present, and future all coincide within the existence of the living world, and then you have a melded other manifold of the demon world that's separate, that's also a parallel to the other portion of the observable universe that's infinitely expanding, and then the unobservable universe, then where all things live within the living world is clearly going to be even greater. I put this list is outdated, of course, but that's why I said, all right, then yeah, the Garlic Jr. realm is clearly going to be 5D. And Koyama even said it makes sense for the gods' realms to be 5 to 6D. He said it out of his own mouth, which makes sense because even portions of Daizenshu talks about the extra dimensional world that Goku goes to when he's in the afterlife. It literally says that with the bike. Yeah, with her bike. I forgot was it, what Kai was it? West Kai? No.
I think it was West Kai, yeah.
It might have been West Kai. It might have been her. It might have been West Kai, yeah. Well, King Kai is North Kai, right?
Yeah, King Kai's North.
So it might have been East Kai or West. East or West is definitely one of the two. And then she had the moped, and they talk about how in that dimension it's its own separate dimension. And the kanji they use is alternate or extra dimension. So there's a lot of hints and implications within the narrative and story that kind of expand upon the complexities of Dragon Ball's cosmology. It also depends on how you really look at the ultimate, ensemble, because we have to also factor in there are many characters in their verse. There are many cosmologies that are huge, but there are many characters who can't destroy it. So you got to factor that in as well. I mean, there's that too. There's that to factor in. Like limbo clones exist in another spatial axis. That's why you can't see them. They exist in another dimension. But they're still on Earth. So they're still somehow in the 3D realm, but they're not visible to you. So what are they, 3.5D? That's kind of, yeah, it's kind of the thing, because it's like, they're in another plane of existence, which means another plane means another orthogonal coordinate, likely the case. But does that mean they can destroy it? No. I mean, just because you're a 4D being doesn't mean you can just slop 3D worlds. The fiction has to kind of make it clear that you can, like Umineko. But anyway, Scarlet Jr.'s hyperspace canon to Dragon Ball Super. I just want to make sure. Random Citizen, I would say it is. The reason why is because Toriyama says the movies do exist, but they just take place in alternate dimensions. I don't see why the cosmology wouldn't exist. Especially because why would the dead zone not exist? Is the question that really comes to mind. And even if it wasn't, Koyama already verifies the afterlife is 5 to 6D anyway. So it doesn't really change the ultimate outcome of the scaling because it's kind of the factor that sits. If we remove this right here, it's not going to change the outcome of like the general macrocosm in other worlds. So nothing really changes there. So it does make sense either way. But sorry, you know how Vegeta talked to the alternate dimensions Buu arc. To answer your question about the Buu arc, it would affect the DB cosmology because he was going to open the walls between them. If you open the walls and you allow 4D objects to pass through different levels of time to be manipulated, it causes chaos. Because we don't know if timelines crashed into each other, we don't know how that would work. Because in the probability plane, timelines only can cross each other, but it's an organized cross. If they just crashed into each other and had no way to separate their temporalities, who knows what type of chaos can happen? Same thing with 3D realms. Like Demon World, if an infinity, you can't mix infinity. Like infinity times infinity is infinity. So will there be a bigger infinity, or will they just become one infinity and shrink or capsize? It's a paradox, and so that paradoxical phenomena could be what crushes the universe. As they say, it will be crushed by alternate dimensions. How can you crush infinity? Probably introducing unauthorized other infinities. I like how I said unauthorized, but essentially. Can you bring up that Koyama statement saying Dragon Ball GT movies are canon, just side stories? That's Toriyama's statement, actually.
Atari, check Discord.
I get nothing.
Andre sent it.
Oh, okay, perfect. And I want to really get to that infinity topic, bro. So I might have to postpone some questions for now. Oh yeah, that I know the term. Yep. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate it. Yeah, so this was one of them. I remember I know the translation's slightly different cuz obviously it says Niju Sekai. I believe it's Niju Sekai something something I forgot how to say space. And I know something Uchu cuz I remember the kanjis of it. A star with a royal palace, which star means celestial body, and then they talk about the 12 universes floating in space different from the universe. So that context, like the actual translation is not that, because it says sekai, not wakuse. Wakuse is like very specifically planet. Sekai is
Yeah.
like world. So technically it should be the translation 12 worlds floating in a space different from the world or the
Yeah.
universe. Which is
Sakai has three meanings: society, world as in planet, and then world as in universe.
correct. So in the context, there is, I mean, the context right there says different from the universe. So if it's in a different space, you might ask yourself, why would they be that small? Because it's clear that those are not representations; those are the universes. But that's how they look in a different space. Which that's why we came to that conclusion. Mm-hmm. What of more examples of more dimensionalities with limited dimensions instead of infinite ones? Um, to answer, I believe I get what you're saying. You're asking, can there be alternate dimensions within dimensions that aren't infinite necessarily? Yes, there can be, but at the same time, dimension just means a measure. And in these cases, I don't believe the measurements are going to, be finite. Thoughts on universal tree statement? Good question, Raven King. So I would love to get into that, but I really, really got to get into the speed category first. Then I will answer that right after. So so guys, hold your questions for now. For the time being, I want to really answer about speed because I really got to break this down. And no, I'm not talking about iShow speed. I'm talking about like an actual phenomena. So I appreciate the questions so far. I do apologize. I am on it. I will answer them, but I need you guys to be patient with me. So let's go ahead and answer this main thing that I've hated for a long time. All right. Let's go ahead and answer the speed category. So let me remove the question part here. There we go. So, topic. Infinite speed. Roz. Just a breakdown. Speed is distance over time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're going to go over a simple formula to explain to you exactly why things are going to work out the way they do.
And we just went to Joe Swanson.
Oh, yeah. So let's go ahead and bring our list up there. So, distance over time. Why? Now, Roz, so what's the topic of today? Well, I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to explain to everyone why inaccessible speed, and I didn't need to explain this.
Probably.
Yeah. And infinite speed are the same damn thing. Oh boy.
This will be good.
Woo, let's go. All right, so for sake of expediency, we're gonna this is gonna be interesting. I think I will. The Dark Knight 47. That's a good question. I think I will at some point. So let's go ahead, guys, and talk about speed. Let's go ahead. New topic, speed. We'll get back to the questions later, but let's focus on speed. First off, if speed equals distance over time. All right? Certainly. But how do we get distance? Well, you need the time multiplied by the speed. Shall we start with the distance? Because everyone likes to say. So the common misconception. But if I travel at infinite, if I'm going an infinite distance in a finite amount of time, that's still infinite speed, right? I'm like, no. Hell no. You see, here's what we're going to say. First off, let's get the equation. So we're going to put the equation. D is going to, so I'm going to have these in 3 different colors. Distance is going to be blue. Speed is going to be red, because I guess. And time could be gold or yellow. Primary colors, yay! Roz, shall we begin?
Go ahead and start us off. Let's see what you got.
All right, so distance. Let's say we have infinite distance, because we need that. This is like algebra. We need infinite distance. Well, we need the speed and the time. Chat, what is our speed? What is our speed? I'm going to let chat choose the speed.
Pretty fun.
Oh, this is going to be great. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I can hear myself. LOL, to think I'm voluntarily attending a math class. Exact. Hey, this is a fun math class. 7 speed. 7 speed. So let's say 7 miles per hour, 7 miles per second, 10 cats a second. You guys.
Times faster than light. What we got?
All right, let's go with 7 cats. 10 cats. 10 Ataris. No, I'm playing. No, the first one was 7, so we'll put 7. So 7 what? What would you say, Roz? You plug in the unit.
Give me a second. Sorry about that. To get some water real quick.
Actually,
what was the question?
Actually, better. There we go. So Brandon Lane said 50 million times the speed of light. Okay.
Oh God.
50 million FTL. Cool. So that means we travel at 50 million times the speed of light. Now, what's our time? Well, guys, how much time do we have? Because remember, this is algebra, basically. How much time do we have? Somebody plug in the formula. We need time. We need time. Like, oh, man. I got to stretch. Oh, my quadriceps. God dang it.
All right, Thor says 0 seconds. No says 18 hours.
Okay. We can do that. It's all going to work out. 18 hours. 18 hours. Oh, bro. Wow.
W.
Hey, Krabby Breaker, thank you so much for $10 donation, man. I appreciate it. Oh, I greatly appreciate it. No, but seriously, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. 0.5 seconds? Yeah. All right. We'll do the 18 hours first. So let me tell you this. This formula, this answer doesn't work. Why does the answer not work? Roz, you know why this answer don't work, bro?
No, I'm just gonna pretend I don't. Explain, please.
So it looks like we have 18 hours. All right. So let's say, for example, we're going to just use Brandon Lane. All right. So we'll pretend this is Brandon. He's running. Look at him. He's all green. He's running. Boom. Look at that speed. Look at those legs. No, I'm just playing. Bro, pause. Pause.
God, okay.
Pause.
I didn't know you felt that way about Brandon.
I don't. I just want the androids.
No, but for real. As you can see, he's going these speeds. He's traveling an infinite distance. All right, so the goal is to reach infinity. It's going to take him 18 hours to do that, right? But in order to get there, he can't do that because he's only traveling 50 million light years. I mean, 50 million times faster than the speed of light. So no matter how fast he's traveling, that speed can never catch up to that, because if I do 18 times 50 million, well, guess what? That does not give me infinity, does it, Roz?
Nope.
Yep.
That's still very much a finite number you're gonna get.
So maybe we can change the number? Hey, what if I do this? What if I do 50 duodecillion? 50 duodecillion times 18 is not 500 duodecillion times 18 is still not going to give us an infinite number.
Infinite.
Yeah. Looks like it fails. How about a Googleplex? Yeah.
Okay, we're really going, aren't we?
That doesn't work either. That's still finite, isn't it? What if I do Aleph null? Okay, obviously, no, I can't do that because that's working with infinities. But anyway, no, I'm just playing.
Oh, it's okay. That'll just give us infinite, whatever.
Yeah. And bro turned into Cell just now. Do not pause. Continue. All right. So overall, that means in order to get this, it's like algebra. We need this to be infinite because infinite times 18 equals infinite. But here's going to be an interesting point you're going to think of. What if we reverse these positions? What if I had 5 miles per hour and I had infinite time? Well, the answer is still correct, but that just means it's going to take an eternity to get to that infinity. And this paradoxically cancels itself out because eternity never reaches. It doesn't end. Eternity has no end. That's literally the definition. There's no end to eternity. And infinity also has no end. So in other words, you will never get there. Do you see how that works? Good. So the first mission is complete. Complete! Let's go ahead and move down to the next one to go ahead and explain to people. I'm trying to make this as simple and fun as possible, guys. So trust me, math teachers suck, but I rock. I'm just kidding. Anyway, seriously though, let's take the same thing. So now we want time. Okay. Well, this one is division? Interesting. So what's the distance? Well, it's distance over time. I mean, distance over speed. So if my speed is 1,000 miles, and let's see, well, we need how much time it's going to take to do that. So obviously, if we have a finite distance, it won't give us a finite. It'll give a finite distance. Is going to give us a finite amount of time. So let's say it's infinite. We could do that, right? So infinity. So we have infinite distance we got to travel, moving at 1,000 miles per hour. Yeah, cool. And our answer is going to be the time, so it's going to come up there. Well, now we run into a problem. Because now I have to ask you, Ross, how many times does infinity go into 1,000?
Oh God.
It doesn't.
It's always going to be infinite. Even if you divide this here and try to divide it, it's still going to come out in infinite. If you try to subtract infinite, you're still going to get infinity. If you try to multiply it, it's still infinite. Half it in infinite. You can't get rid of infinite. It's going to be infinite regardless.
Yep. So we'll never get our answer because the answer will continue on infinitely. So technically, if we had infinite time, we could technically get there because that's just ultimately the answer. Because essentially the answer can never be reached. Oh, okay. So that adds up. But let's change up things a bit. Let's say my speed was infinite. And I had to travel. Sorry. I'm messing up. Let's say in this case my speed is infinite. And I had to travel a distance of 100 meters. All right. Well, how many times does 100 go? How many times does 100 go into infinity? Oh, it could go in there infinite times. Oh, so time becomes infinite. But then it's weird because this is our distance, right? So it shouldn't take me infinite. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah. So shouldn't we reverse these equations? Yeah, let's go ahead and reverse it. Yeah, go ahead, Peter. Go ahead and reverse it. All right, let's go ahead and reverse these equations. Let's go ahead and reverse it. Let's move the 100 here. Let's take the infinity and move it outside. Huh. Uh-oh. So how many times can infinity go into this number? Well, yeah, we get the same problem. It's going to continue on infinitely. So as you guys can see, despite the point, this equation becomes impossible to do. Because what is the common rule of infinity and zero? They break math.
Always.
Because it's not finite, so there's no numbers to work with. Infinity is infinite, so there's no number. It's technically, it's a concept, and it is a number because it does exist, but at the same time, it's more conceptualized than it is an actual value that you can calculate. So, what does that mean? Well, I think I know what it means. All right, so let's find out what it means. So let's just say, all right, I can't go into that number at 0 times. Okay, 0 times. Okay. So add a 0. All right. Well, can't go into that 0 times. Oh, you're right. All right, let me make these yellow. Yeah, 0 times. All right, well, let's add another 0. Yep, 0 times. Yeah, it goes in at 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, so you're telling me this infinite speed so infinity can never go into 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1 quadrillion, septillion, sextillion, octillion, nonillion, duodecillion, nonillion, decillion, undecillion, duodecillion, tridecillion, quadradecillion, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is, so basically it takes 0. So if I'm moving at infinite speed, traveling 1 billion miles, it takes 0 time.
Yep.
Oh, 0 time. Kind of like inaccessible speed, right? Just because the numbers don't work mathematically, you could still just use basic logic.
Yes.
And again, this information is susceptible to correction, but I am just saying based on what we've studied. Speed is equal to distance over time. All right, now we want the equation for speed. So our goal is to get infinite speed. But how are we going to get infinite speed since we're doing division now? Well, time is going to be divided by the divisional number. So, yeah, here's the equation. If we had infinite time, this answer is easy because the answer becomes infinite speed. Again, back to what we were saying. But let's say we have 100 seconds, Roz. You got to travel a distance of... You got to travel infinite distance. How many times does infinity go into 100? See, now it starts breaking again. Well, it doesn't go into it. Yeah, exactly. So then if it doesn't go into it, then you start getting into that same loop. It never goes into it. Well, your answer can't be 0 miles per hour. So in other words, I have to make the yellows 50 into infinity. Now, I'm not going to get into the remainders or anything because essentially the math just breaks the calculator. You really can't determine it. It's just like how 0 is unquantifiable. But I'll tell you this. How many times does infinity go into 0?
So you're really trying to break the system, aren't you?
You see?
How many times infinity goes into 0? That is the whole. Again, those two fundamentally break math. It's almost impossible to work with them in any situation. Now you want to be like, hey, how many times can infinity go into 0?
So if I have 0 time, that means my speed, and I'm traveling infinite distance, my speed should be 0. But we know that's not right. So you guys get why like most of this doesn't work with each other.
You might as well just say infinitely 0 at that point. It doesn't really matter.
Pretty much. But the amount of cardinal zeros I'll have to write out to even reach that number is infinite. But then again, it goes into the same phenomenon. How many times does 0 go into 1? Infinitely. So that's why you really don't want to use 0. That's also why an inaccessible speed is hard to calculate, because that's the only thing that makes it inaccessible, because the time is 0 and you're just working with zeros at that point. But if you're using the distance to try to find out the distance, the bottom line is if the distance is infinite, right? And it doesn't matter how long it takes you for the most part. At some point, your speed has to hit infinity because it will never make up that gap. If I'm traveling at 100 miles per hour, how many hours will it take for you to reach infinity? Infinite time. So what about wikis? Now we can start getting into the examples, Roz. Now we can start really getting to the nitty gritty examples. Let's start doing it. So first, people are going to be asking, all right, but what about characters like wikis? All right, so let's say wikis traveled infinite distance, and we're just going to say this is universe. And then we're just going to say this is, we're going to make it pink. I'm going to say afterlife. So we'll put AL for afterlife. Draw a little bubble. Bam, bam, bam. Yep. Snake way. Woo! All right, anyway. Next, in green, space between universes. SBU, space between universes. Woo, look at this space between universes. In order for wikis to travel the infinite distance of the general universe, and this is going to be wikis right here, this yellow thing. Wikis is traveling, takes him 26 minutes. So either two things are happening. Either it takes him 26 minutes to accelerate up into infinity, just like it took Superman time to reach infinity, right, Ross?
Yep. Literally, it took him quite a few seconds to reach that point from accelerating his own speed.
Exactly. And that's when that equation makes itself clear. It becomes more about, when you're talking about infinite distance over a finite time, that becomes more of a conversation of acceleration. Inaccessible speed is actually the true infinite speed, because infinite speed should not have an acceleration time. Right, Roz?
Yep.
Because if it takes me 0 time to travel infinite distance, that's the true definition of infinite speed. That was what I was explaining in my video. Because if you say, it takes me 10 seconds to travel an infinite distance, doesn't matter. I don't care if you was going at 1757,000 to the Googleplex power of the Googleplex power to Rayo's cardinal number, which is Rayo's number, which is like one of the biggest finite numbers of all time. Even if you use that number, multiply by itself, and then to the power of itself as a factorial to itself, within the power of itself, doesn't matter. It's not infinite. It's still finite. So in other words, it's just going to take you a very small amount of time. I mean, the only thing it's going to take you still take you forever. You'll never get there. So until you hit that infinite speed threshold, that's when you get there. So this really is a conversation about acceleration. That's why Versus Battle Wiki saying traveling infinite distance in a finite time. Like, no. Unless you're dealing with relativity, they don't work like that. Because now you're talking about acceleration. Wikis' acceleration, it takes him likely 26 minutes to travel infinite distance. Likely. But let's just say Wikis can automatically travel infinite distance because he has infinite speed. Or whatever. If he can, first off, you can just argue his angel powers limit him, so whatever. So that's why it takes him 26 minutes. But once he's in a space between universes, for all we know, the universe, and this is just an example, guys, don't exaggerate it. So the universe is generally 3D, a little bit of 4D mixed into it. Let's say the space between universes is 5D. So the infinite speed Whis carried over in the 3D realm, now he becomes immeasurable, traveling between these worlds because there's no space, there's no time, and there is a distance, but the distance is measured through a fifth dimensional type of spatial distance, which we don't even know how that measures. So technically, because we don't have a timeline or a reference, we don't have time, and we know the speed is infinite, but how long is the time there? Well, there's no time there, so time is out of the equation, so you can't complete the answer. So as a result, Whis is traveling in between this realm. It could take 26 minutes, and Whis knows that maybe in Earth's time, it takes 26 minutes. But once he's in the realm, like, because when Whis is in this realm traveling between the space between universe, maybe it takes 26 minutes there. And I have proof of this because, Roz, you remember when Whis travels, he literally warps and goes out. He's not in space. He's literally outside of space. Actually, let's pull that up.
Yeah, just pull up the scene itself, but create a fair use warning first, though.
Exactly. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. Okay.
Now.
I hate these commercials. Shut up. All right, so let's see here. In the movie, they don't do it. In the anime, they do it, though. Whis travels to Earth. Let's type it in, and I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. Let's see here. Because there's a scene where they travel, and it's really cool.
I think you're probably for like the Battle of Gods arc where Whis does it.
Yeah. So DBZ episode. We'll put episode 5. Oh God, not episode 5. Chill on that. Chill. We don't want to see that. So that was the best animated. I mean, it was the best animated episode of all time. But you know, just you got your butt kicked, dum dum. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to see it. Like, I don't care if it's in Spanish. That's not besides the point. I'm just trying to see that. Where's the scene with Whis? God dang it. Okay, maybe it's episode 3. Anyway, guys, how is everyone so far in the chat? Let's go ahead. Based on this definition of speed, we can assume that most of the character speeds are immeasurable and not truly infinite. After all, you would have to be omnipresent or surpass the constant. Demon Bane, let's give a hand to him. Everyone, chat, give him some fires in the chat. Demon Bane broke it down very simple, and that's exactly what we're talking about, right, Roz? Like, it's like nobody necessarily has infinite speed. Most people just like he's immeasurable. I'm like, do you know how many characters can kind of operate or move outside of time or a different time flow? Ichigo, Naruto, to a degree, of course. They're limited, but you know what I mean. Esdeath has infinite speed. Not really. Her speed looks infinite. Here's another example. First off, if you're paying attention here, this blue is the timeline. Woo! Or no, this blue is the timeline. The red squigglies is the 3D space within the timeline. The green thing is the super space outside the timeline, whatever, blah, blah, blah. In this example, we're going to take someone from the chat. Roz, pick someone, please. I don't know.
No, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, no name. Yeah, let's take no names left. This is no name, right? No name is sitting here. He's in the beginning of time. Now, remember, time can go forward and backwards. This is the past for P, infinite, and in the future, P for infinite. Why? Because we don't know when the beginning of time is. The beginning has an infinite because it can be infinitesimally small, or it could have just started since infinity. Nobody knows. It's a paradoxical concept nobody has answered. And then the future is infinitely expanding forever. Unless, of course, the timeline ends. But just for this example. So he's in the 3D realm. Propagating. This is the present, right? The present is anecdotal. It's what you experience. So he's in the present, just like, all right, chilling, progressing through time, getting old. Now he's in a battle. So take him real quick. And now he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to time skip. This is what Hit's doing in his time skip. Let me move outside of time. All right, Goku's about 2 seconds in the future. So 1, 2. All right, I'm going to pop back in. Boop. And that's how Hit does it. Goku was moving so goddamn fast that even though Hit was in there, Goku's like, you know what? Even though you're moving ahead to the future, I'm going to power up so hard that I also move through time while staying in the 3D present. How the freak does that make any sense? Don't ask me. It's anime. Then immeasurable speed people. Well, I'm not just infinite speed going outside of time. I'm going to move outside the entire timeline in this green space. I'm going to walk along it. You know what? There's an infinite. Now, most people who can walk here, let's say you go 10 miles per hour. So No Name goes 10 miles per hour. Hey, I'm going 10 miles per hour. Really fast. He'll never reach the end of infinity. He'll be like this forever, just cycling in a loop as time expands faster than he can even comprehend. Infinitely. Now, he's like, all right, well, you know what? Let me jump out the timeline and I'm going to walk along the timeline. He still moves 10 miles per hour. But maybe in this world, he could take shortcuts because he can probably cut across time, come on the bottom side, cut this way, cut through here. Because again, he's on the 5th dimension, so he can kind of just fold himself around it, leap in and out. That's the immeasurable part. There's no time, there's no space. So he's immeasurable. We cannot measure this green space. We don't know how it measures. We don't know if there's feet. Oh, I live like down the street. How long? I live about a mile away. Yeah, like 3-dimensional miles or like 5D miles. 5D miles. How far is a 5D mile compared to a 3D mile? Who knows? It could be infinite. I don't know, man. It's on a completely different axis. That's why it becomes immeasurable, because you can't measure anything with it. Now,
I'll use another example real quick for you, Atari, for measurable speed, because we did this when I talked to you the other day. Nakaruru. KL15 straight up states in its official prologue that she can travel, and it doesn't say teleport, it doesn't say move, it says travel beyond time and space itself. So, you can't measure that. She's already like, it's immeasurable.
Right. And it's like, see, like technically here, in this context, very good example, Ross, thank you. And in this context, No Name, in this context, he still only runs 10 miles per hour. He's only infinitely faster because I have to, like, for example, let's draw another guy. Let's say me and No Name had a race, right?
Yeah.
Me and No Name have like a crazy race. Like, we're like, all right, we're about to race, bro. Now, I run 100 miles per hour. No Name travels like 10 miles per hour. All right, I'm about to smoke him, right? As soon as you start running, ready, set, go. He jumps outside of time. Boom. I'm like, God dang, bro. So he's outside of time. I'm stuck here. While I'm stuck there, time is progressing for me in my perspective, but he is not in the present. He is not in the past. He is not in the future. He's outside of it. So he could just say, and no matter how long he waits, I'll never progress. He can walk this way and be like, how far has Tari gotten here? Tari hasn't gotten to this point in time. So let me just jump. Yeah, this is the finish line, and he just pops back in. Boom, he already won. It's not even teleportation. It's just, that's immeasurable speed. He's infinite in my perspective, but out here, he's infinite because he's outside of time. Sure, because he doesn't have to wait for how long it takes him to get to the finish line. But if he's back in the real world, I'm smoking him. And that's why immeasurable speed is based on positioning. That's why I said infinite speed is faster than immeasurable speed. Unless it's immeasurable speed plus, which is the ability to travel along the timeline, but your speed is infinite in this 5D world, this green 5D world, your speed is infinite here too. So You may have ran infinite speed in 3D, but as soon as you leave this world, your speed may not be infinite in the 5D world anymore. Some characters still have infinite speed even when they go 5D, aka SNK. Oh damn, that rhymes. AKA SNK, the kings, the 7 kings, correct, Roz? They went to the edge of infinity. So they could be like, oh, that's infinity over there? All right, I'll meet you right, boom.
Yeah, they it's the seven kings from like the edge of eternity or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna reach the edge of eternity. Wait, infinity doesn't have an edge, it doesn't matter. We are beyond the infinity of the eternity, so we can reach the edge even though it shouldn't exist. The fuck? Like, what? The hell?
In some definitions, the edge itself means outside of, which means that theoretically they could exist outside of eternity, which is infinite time.
Exactly. So it's like, oh yeah, infinite time, I bet. So those guys, we would rank them immeasurable speed plus, or some would say true immeasurable speed, or infinite immeasurable speed. I prefer the term immeasurable speed plus to keep it simple, but that's how it really is. And of course, if he goes, now let's say if there's a hypothetical 6th dimension that holds its own different type of timelines, we don't know how someone's going to behave. Like, we don't know, like, oh, can you go outside the 6D world? Will you still be infinite speed? I mean, no, probably not. We don't know how fast. It's like in Anno's Voldigold. It's like, oh, you could destroy an infinite world? Yeah, but guess what? You can't even destroy a cruise ship over here, bro. Like, god dang. Oh, but it's not higher dimensional. Like, oh, please. Get out of here.
Yep.
But last thing I'm gonna bring up to you guys to kind of bring the point across is Whis' speed. If you actually look at Whis travel, so I'm gonna show you a couple things about Whis' speed. So before I do, let me go ahead and put fair use right across the screen. And switch my stream over to this. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So as you guys can see, like when Whis travels, first let's look here. So when Whis travels, look at space. It's bending. And then space is no longer a thing. And then there's just this white void. What the hell is this white void? And why does it only pop up when Whis is traveling? We didn't see that with gas. Did we, Roz?
Nope.
So then it comes down to, and the thing is, Beerus is completely calm. He doesn't feel any stress. And when Goku was traveling with Whis, he was like, oh, I gotta pee. Goku felt nothing at all. Goku was traveling with Whis, like, oh, all right, bet. So they're clearly in some type of wormhole or some type of other way of traveling. And obviously, let's see here. Oh yeah, when Beerus was like, yo, can't you go any faster? And then Whis gets irritated. Look at that. Yo, look at that. Look at it again. He phases outside of his own travel. And, like, bro, frame by frame, bam. That proves he's literally using warp speed. So in this white space, that's probably when he's at, like, I don't want to say infinite. That's probably when he's, like, in the in-betweener, between, like, traveling. Because it seems like he travels in between dimensions to get to the place he needs to get to kind of cut time.
He's probably at his highest speed at this point.
Yeah, because
or
he's
presumably his highest speed.
Yeah, as his suppressed angel self, right? Because the angels can't use their angel powers. Because he can go faster, we do know in the filler Raleigh arc. The fact is, look at Whis. I don't know if chat, are you seeing this? Anyway, bottom line.
Chat, pay attention.
Imagine. All right, anyway, bottom line is he stops and he's like, you do know I'm the fastest in the universe. I remember this scene. And V's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that. My bad. And then so he just picks back up. So look how fast. So he just accelerates again. And it's likely that Whis is only traveling like this because he's limited. So anyway, Elder Kai comes, blah, 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 skip, 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 skip. Let's skip a different way. There's a point where Whis travels. So I want to find it. I can't find it immediately, but I do know there's a point where Whis travels, and then when he's traveling, I don't know if you remember this too, Roz. He traveled. Oh, look at that, yo. That Loki looks like Shintani. Anyway, he's traveling, and then Beerus, the sky kind of like ripples, like, and Whis just disappears.
Oh, okay. I think I know what I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no episode it was.
Yeah, they do that quite often. Even Vados did it, and it looks like when. Oh my, Roshi trying to get the stream like demonetized now.
Bet.
So yeah, essentially the main bottom line is, let's see when Whis travel. Yeah, let's see how it looks when Whis travels. I think it changes. Yeah. There it is. You see it? You see the ripples?
Yeah.
That's so weird because it's not that Whis left the atmosphere. It's like he literally ripples through space. He goes through space and time to travel. That's what it kind of feels like. I wouldn't say through time completely, but it's like he just kind of bypasses space in a way. And that's probably why he can travel to the afterlife with just raw travel speed. One interesting thing about Xeno's power. So anyway, that should explain that basic function about Whis' speed.
I mean, it should, hopefully.
Yeah. But anyway, that explains the infinite speed in that department to a degree. Let's go ahead, guys, and talk a little bit about... So now that the topic of speed is over, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some potential versus matchups you guys may want to bring up to the table. God dang, I gotta stretch good. God dang, Ragnarok looking at not playing. All right, let's see here. What was stated? What about the universal tree? That's good. I have to look it up. What's the universal tree statement? If I see it, I'll talk about it. I haven't seen any scans on it besides Beerus holding it back, which it tried to suck out the energy from the 12 macrocosms, which kind of confirms Beerus. Like, even if we're talking like baseline, it kind of confirms Beerus. Like, people's like, oh, Beerus is scared of Xeno because Xeno could destroy all 12 universes. Beerus is holding back a tree that can suck up all the energy from it. Like, shut up. Dragon Ball top 3 worst versus to fight. God Fusion Goku versus Lucifer. Depends on how you interpret God Fusion Goku. Because if you interpret Lucifer Morningstar in the comics to be who he is, he has half the power of an omnipotent being. So I don't think you can put him down unless you yourself are omnipotent. To a degree. And then you can interpret God Fusion Goku fuses with the writer of DC and just crumbles the book. Then it's just like, yeah, maybe. It's kind of what could happen. So it's like, depends. Do abstract concepts below outerversal? Roz, what do you think of that? I don't think they do. Just because something's abstract doesn't make it outerversal. Because that means it has to bypass infinities beyond. Because that means it has to be beyond time. And most concepts take time to take precedence.
Yeah, no, I don't see an abstract existence as outerversal unless it's specifically stated to be so.
Yeah. Hey, bring me a scan of the universal tree being infinite dimensional. Because that could put them at hyperversal plus, and then the fact that Beats World transcends that could put them at Aleph Null versal, like easily. Or at least according to the Versus Battle Wiki's current stupid definition, beyond, I think, mid-outer versal, because Versus Battle Wiki changed the definition again. Or whatever.
Versus Battle Wiki is constantly changing their definitions. There's no consistency whatsoever.
We were talking about, I think that this character can beat this character. You don't disagree with me. You are bloody stupid, and I don't know.
This character beats Goku because I say they beat Goku.
It's kind of sad how all these dumb versus shorts popping up on YouTube obviously just use Versus Battle Wiki to scale characters. Or they just make assumptions. That
And
too.
it's always this person versus Goku. Can this person beat Goku? I'm like, could you stop? There are
Yeah.
other characters that you can fight besides Goku.
Yeah. Chuck Geekdom 101 made versus battle Black Adam versus Goku. So let's just keep this very bare bones basic. Like honestly, like
No. Just no. That's what I gotta say to that. No.
why would Black Adam even fight Goku? Why would he even
I
have a
think thing is,
chance?
I think it was like movie Black Adam, not even comic Black Adam. It was the Dwayne the Rock Johnson like version of Black Adam. So no.
He's getting his face stomped in. Oh god dang. This dude dying. He dead. He dead. He dead. That boy, man, that boy dead. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. Roz, ain't no freaking way. He's not even. No, there's no way. You're asking me a question like that, I'm gonna punch you right in the cannolis. There's no
Like
way
if you use comics like Black Adam, I could get it. I could understand the reasoning, but the new movie Black, no.
Hell no. Even if a comic book Black Adam's getting his face stomped in. But like I get what you're saying. Like, hey, yeah, he's got something going for him, right?
Exactly. Like comic book Black Adam is definitely a lot stronger, like than what most people give him credit for. There's a reason for his like god tiering within DC Comics.
Right. But I will say, like, straight up, like, all right, he ain't getting that too far. Let him fight geese. Let me stop. Oh snap! If he fights,
I was gonna go without making any references to geese or anything like that throughout this whole stream, and you just did it for me.
predictable, of course. That's why. So anyway, chat. So the bottom line is, let's focus a little bit more on some of the factors that make characters who they are, what their verses would be. So let's talk about like some bare bones versus battle. I'm gonna give you like an honest opinion on what the battle would be like, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. So meanwhile, while I'm just picking out this small sketch of this random character who I have no idea who this is, I'm just drawing it straight from imagination, and I'm just talking to you, letting my, this do the work.
King Ross said he sent you the skin on Discord.
King Roz.
King Rov.
Oh, Rob, I was about to say you.
Oh yes, because I totally go by King on YouTube.
True. Good point. Hey, you never know. It could have been an alt profile of you trying to sneak.
Listen, if I wanted to donate to you, I would donate to you the way I'm doing right. I would do right now. I'm not going.
Hey, wait, what? What'd I tell you about that, bro? Roz is the only person I would threaten to not. All right, so anyway, let me look closer at the chat. We got Shadow the Hedgehog drawn as a human. In this case, no, I'm just kidding. This is not Shadow the Hedgehog.
I say you're drawing an updated version of Wes.
Perhaps. Anyway, so bottom line is, chat, we have to look at a couple of things when it comes to understanding the circumstances. You're that guy. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Listen, Jiren, I'm gonna be honest. We can't just use Xenogoku for everything, okay? Xenogoku bodies so many characters, so many verses.
Yeah, it becomes boring.
It's not fair. You can't use that in a fight.
Which is why Roz uses like downgraded versions of SNK, because if he didn't, it'd be boring.
Or I just use the actual low tier characters.
Yeah. I'd rather have Kula and Gray from Fairy Tail fight each other than to have like Gray fight Kyo.
I'm sorry, that's still a wash. What are you talking about?
Shh, don't tell them that. Just let them have their So yeah, exactly.
About a character who could freeze the entirety of the ocean of the Earth casually.
Yeah, true. I don't even know what color hair this guy should have. Ugh, purple. Gross. Anyway. Bottom line is, guys, you know what the deal is. So let's get a versus battle going. So somebody pick a character.
Yes, but please make sure it's a character that we at least like know of. It's like throwing some random person we've never heard of.
Don't worry, you have a lot of options. We've watched Life as a Teenage Robot. We watched Captain Planet. I mean,
oh my god. Dante, Devil May Cry. Okay. God of War, Thor. Oh god. So Dante versus God of War, Thor.
all right.
Is that the matchup? Okay, Kratos. Okay, we versus, not just random characters, actual versus.
Akira Takimura.
Who the frick?
Akira Takimura. I type in name. I see IMDb.
Is that not an actual character?
I don't know.
Stry, did you just give us one of your characters that you made? Oh, Takimura, not Mua. Takimura.
Mora. Well, I did type that in. Still don't have it. Antsy versus Luffy. Okay, there we go. Let's look up something. All right, is Antsy an anime character or manga character? Because
yeah, it's a fan made character that Stride made. God dang it.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if he's talking about like, you know. Natsu versus Luffy. No, I mean Natsu. Oh, I was like, who has Antsy? Natsu versus Luffy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, I don't know. Depends. There's a lot to go over with Fairy Tail.
If I recall, doesn't Natsu have like planetary scaling in Fairy Tail, if I remember correctly?
It's iffy compared to Luffy, at least.
Because didn't this man also break out of a void? No, we're not doing Janemba versus Accelerator. Didn't this man break out of a void? Like
Wait,
in the
who
manga?
did they just say versus Accelerator?
Janemba versus Accelerator. Ichibei versus... No, not Ichibei versus Naruto.
Oh, Janemba is going to slap Accelerator, and I have reasons as to why. Because I know a lot about Accelerator now that I actually learned about him. And
From Zero and all, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
Accelerator
knew about him.
Yeah, like Accelerator can slap him back, but like that's a good thing. That's the fun thing about Accelerator battles is Accelerator can always clap him back, but we got to look at it realistically. I mean, do you honestly think Accelerator is gonna know what the hell Janemba's even is? Because Janemba can replicate Accelerator and just be like, oh, okay, well here's a little mini Accelerator. Like, come on, bro. And it's such a weird battle. But anyway, back to the match. I don't know which character. I don't know. Guys, don't ask who this is. I don't know who this is. This is just some...
Natsu versus Luffy. I'm going to give it to Natsu because he has a crap ton of hacks, from what I remember correctly. I think he has more hacks than Luffy does.
Interesting. I'm going to be on the opposite side. I'm going to say Luffy wins. Because I believe with the new addition of Luffy... I believe Luffy has more consistent attack potency than Natsu. And I don't believe Natsu has the durability or speed to keep up. If this is stats equalized, I give it to Natsu. But if it's the regular stats the versus have, I'm going to give it to Luffy. Because I believe the thing is... Actually, you know what? While I'm talking about this, let's draw the characters we're talking about.
Because if I remember correctly, I think Natsu was able to like blitz... Didn't Natsu like blitz someone who could like manipulate space-time or something like that? And at some point, like later on in the manga, near the end of the run, I can't even remember. It was been so long ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because we got to sometimes re-look at these feats because you never know how the feats will turn out if we if we looking at it from now, sure, they may look one way, but we have to look at them up close and kind of really understand what's going on. Because what I mean by that is, like, before I used to think, oh, Goku can do this and that, and I looked at him like, actually, I don't know if Goku can get away with that. He might not. So, like, it's sometimes I think we might need a re-examination. Because, like, look at Meliodas. I had to re-examine Meliodas to realize he's way stronger than I gave him credit for. But Natsu, and I don't mean this disrespect. Fairy Tail is a great series, but Fairy Tail is one of those obscure points of the series that, like, you know what I mean when I say obscure. Like, at this point,
Yeah.
let's be honest. How many people actually know about Fairy Tail?
Well, I think now they don't. It's not popular anymore because it's not running anymore at this point.
And, like,
once it ended, it ended.
Right. And the impact it left, and I don't mean any disrespect, but the impact it left, because I know the author made Rave Masters too. He's a legend. That's a legendary series. Or at least it's a great series.
Yeah.
I would say, like, because of, like, that impact, it's hard to really say exactly. By the way, I never drew Luffy before, so don't judge me.
Yeah, because I do remember, like, vaguely, like, I definitely remember that there was probably some, like, planetary scaling in there, especially with, like, Natsu and, like, his power-ups later on, especially, like, his crazy dragon demon power-ups that he was getting.
Right.
Like, he could break out of, like, a void and all this other kinds of stuff, and it was insane. But,
Exactly. And that's what it really comes down to, because although Natsu is strong, though, I will say this. Until I actually read Fairy Tail myself, or until I have a really, really good, accurate breakdown on Natsu from a normal perspective, it's hard to say. So I'm going to look at Luffy from a very general perspective. I don't think narratively Natsu is intended to be as fast as Luffy was when I compared them side by side. Luffy was intended to be faster than light speed even before the time skip. And Zoro dodging all those Kuma light speed points is like, okay, well, let's look at it from, like, a mathematical perspective. Like, that's insane. It's a light speed and you're dodging it while tired, hundreds of them. That's ridiculous. And then the pacifistas shoot a level of light utilizing Kizaru's laser, but the light they shoot is so fast that most Straw Hats can't even dodge it barely. Interesting. Then later, time skip, and Luffy's in gear second. And then time skip, he's in base form. Nah, that's too... He literally calls it slow. Dodges all three of them, and in perspective of Luffy, he's like, they're slow. And then, boom, it finally hits the background if we're going by the anime. So, by the way the narrative is portraying, Luffy can definitely handle light speed opponents. Natsu can handle light speed magic, and he definitely has been able to have light speed abilities before. Even Blue Note, I think, had the black hole, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so, like, characters like that are very fast. But at the same time, the one thing I always want to look at before, like, giving the ultimate verdict is that I'm not knocking what Natsu can do. It's just I've seen more from Luffy because One Piece is more current. It's running longer, and the narrative from Oda, nothing against the narrative from Fairy Tail. One Piece is actually one of the easiest series to kind of scale, to a degree, of course, because it's story driven. But Oda is very straightforward with what he wants. When he said Chinjiao could split a continent, it's a freaking continent. There's no way to get around it. But I don't think that's accurate scaling. Then we get the chapter with freaking NL. Remember what NL did to the moon?
Yes.
So, like, off of that alone, I'm like, all right, so the fact that NL is already, like, large country level, like, already bothers the crap out of me when I'm looking at Natsu, because then I have to think, all right, well, how can I scale Natsu now? You know, like, how can I compare him to Luffy when I know Oda's entire intention was to make Luffy this being who's faster than light speed, literally punches with and he's like, oh, he can't punch an island. There are literally characters. See, it's one thing when you scale, like, we could say, I estimate Goku's punches can do XYZ or blah. I mean, well, sorry. I estimate this character's punches can do XYZ on average, like Yusuke. But with One Piece, it's verbatimly stated, that leg of yours, Sai, has power. I'm sure has enough power to split that ice continent into pieces. So, like with Oda, he's clearly telling us there's a level of attack potency. He's literally saying, yeah, by the way, his legs AP can split an ice continent, and that's his DC. And then Haki, Luffy can take his physical power and put it into you with advanced Haki. Not to mention, base Luffy is way stronger than that Sai. Base Luffy's multi-continental easily, even arguably, I hate to say it, multi-continental plus, edging almost to that moon level. He's really close to that moon level territory in base form when you really do the math. Because considering how much stronger Katakuri was, Luffy got bodied by Kaido, and then he comes back so strong in his base form, and then he could put his Haki into your body and bypass your external durability. I don't know if how Natsu's gonna feel taking multiple continents, being destroyed into his gut. Bam! Just hitting him. So that's the only reason why I would say, although I think in a stats equalized battle, Natsu can take the cake. I say can. I haven't looked at Fairy Tail enough. In my honest opinion, I think Luffy's going to seal the deal. I think it's going to be a low difficulty battle for him because of Luffy, the way Haki works. And I don't think Natsu has. I haven't seen anything from Natsu that shows he could, A, keep up with that level of speed consistently, of course. Consistently. I know he has some time manipulation abilities. I'm talking consistently. 2, B, I don't know if he's dealt with someone with the precognitive level of Luffy. Luffy's so damn fast that even Katakuri couldn't even tell. And he had one of the best, he had the in-series best observational Haki. Dude could literally read your thoughts before you even say it. Like, I know what you're going to say even before you say it. Because regardless of what you do, it's going to happen. Like, his Haki never lies. And Luffy didn't have enough Haki to overpower his conquerors. He's just so damn fast, he just outsped him. What? The same Luffy who's light speed and base? You know what I mean? So when you look at it from even just a narrative perspective, it's clear to see Luffy has a little bit more going for him in the feats and transitive property department. But who knows? Maybe I'm ignorant. If it's anime Natsu, then that's a different story. Because that bro, he punched a planet. And I mean, and if I recall, actually, didn't Urza also? Is her name Urza?
Yeah, Urza.
I think, pretty sure she has a
Or
continental.
Ezra.
Yeah, pretty sure she has a continental feat. Because Screw Attack, that would have had the power to take out an island or a country. Like, bro, that's a continental plus feat. Get the hell out of here, you bald-headed baboons. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Luffy or Natsu? Leave it in the comments below.
Like I said, I'm going to go with Natsu just because he has so many freaking forms that give actual like numbers to like multipliers that they give him along with like lore going behind them. Is crap like that. From what I remember. Like I think one of his forms gave him like a 320 times like multiplier or something like that.
Interesting.
I was like, it's weird. One of like his dragon form or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I will go with Luffy because I haven't caught up with Fairy Tail enough to really know. And if I have yet to, I mean, obviously, if there's information, I'm always willing to make it public. But right now, since I haven't finished Fairy Tail and there's more to know about Natsu, I think Luffy has more stuff going for him in terms of like what he's actually done on screen and narrative wise. But hey, that's just a theory. No, I'm playing.
I'll see, Andre, if he went like Dragon King, like Fire Dragon King mode, or like Igneo mode, he could probably like give Gear 5 Luffy a hard time, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, because we're not counting Gear 5. We don't know enough of. Yeah, we wasn't counting Gear 5, by the way, guys, in this conversation because we don't know enough about it. All we know is that it's imagination. I mean, pretty sure Natsu can tank his own attacks, even if Luffy kind of reflected it at him.
Saitama versus Luffy. No.
That's interesting, but Saitama's just too strong. Because now, if you're talking Saitama versus Luffy, it's kind of different. Because, like, the thing is, Saitama is just too strong. If its stats equalize, Luffy's knocking the breaks off him. Now, I will say this. Luffy is faster than Saitama combat speed. That's a fact. Nothing in One Punch Man has indicated to us that Saitama has anywhere near the speeds that Luffy has. I mean, I've done the calcs. The sneeze that he did was light speed, considering that I think Moon Io is the same distance from Jupiter, almost the same distance as ours is from the sun. I mean, our moon is from Earth, almost. So with that said, it's really hard to give him a number on that. I will say, however, to be fair, he is very, very, very strong. So, and that's really what's going to have going for him. But I think if like Saitama had to fight Luffy, hear me out, Roz. Hear me out. If Saitama's not bloodlusted, Luffy can make him feel it. And hear me out why. Boros was making Saitama feel a little bit of his punches. Of course, Saitama can get stronger as the battle goes on. And that's when the battle will end. But hear me out. If Luffy fights Saitama, what's going to happen is he's going to be punching Saitama. One. And he's going to know this guy's strong. I like it. Luffy's going to get excited. Luffy gets stronger as he fights. Cool. Saitama does too. Cool. Thing is, Luffy's average punch, Roz. Because if Sai can split a continent with his leg, I've seen what Boros can do with a punch. Boros has to go into his meteoristic burst to even create city, some may argue small country, level punches. And it's like, so you have to really Boros has to break his body just to do anything Luffy could do casually. So when we look at the fact that it's like, Luffy is like dozens of times stronger than Sai in his base form, it's like, Saitama in the beginning is going to be like, God damn, you hit pretty hard. Because notice when Saitama did his table flip to the moon, it was a serious table flip. He needed to be serious to do something like that. Sorry,
Atari. My eyes kind of twitching right now based off of that. Based off what I'm seeing in live chat right now.
Well, what happened?
This disrespect going towards Sun Wukong over here.
Oh, you guys are funny. Yeah, go.
RJ donated to you with a gift saying Xeno Goku and Caps Corp Goku and Goku Jump Force versus Sun Wukong.
Oh, wow. That's actually a really good one. I'm going to give it to... I'm probably going to give it to Sun Wukong. If I'm going to be honest, RJ. Thanks for the donation, by the way. I appreciate it. Sorry I missed it. But to be honest with you, I would give that to Goku. I mean, I'm sorry. It's, Wukong Goku. Because, honestly... if you don't know, then you don't know. That's fine. But if exactly, Andre, like
Wukong, let me explain this to y'all. Let me just explain this to y'all about freaking Sun Wukong, because y'all want to disrespect the Monkey King's name for a minute here. Screw what Death Battle has to say. Xenogoku does not scale higher, okay? Sun Wukong became Buddha, okay? Buddha in the literal mythology transcends infinite amount of concepts. He transcends the metaphysical. He transcends literally everything that exists and has yet to exist. Like, better hacks? No, you can't out-hack someone who essentially outscales any kind of hacks or thing that exists. You can't. Sun Wukong's power is too insane. He transcends literal concept and platonic concepts and even non-existent concepts according to mythology.
Yep.
And to the West. He transcends it all. He can't even be touched or perceived.
Let me add on to that.
Is not infinitely high outer. There is no infinite high outer. It's just outerversal.
And Xenogoku hasn't... So I'm going to explain a couple things as well.
Like,
Xenogoku hasn't reached that tier yet because first
like
off...
Nirvana. Like, what the frick? Yeah.
Xenogoku hasn't reached that tier yet because the Beats world is still material. It's still a material-based world. It still exists in a sense of it still has a measurement. It's still measurable. So because the world can be measured even in beat standards, it has a measurement. So it has some level of dimensionality. Now, is it infinitely transcendent? Now, if the tree is truly infinite dimensional, if it is supposedly, cool. That just means that Goku now is beyond high hyperversal plus and now into the Aleph Null versal, which I kind of my own jargon, but it kind of explains like the complex hyperversal. Cool. But Sun Wukong, who's with Buddha, and the actual concepts of the casual body and ego, I talk about this with Dark Schneider, which if you really want to, that's why I said the highest level interpretation, Dark Schneider could solo 99% of the fictions y'all bring into the chat. But that's another topic for another time. Especially because you mix in, they literally have Buddha and Christianity and Islam mixed within the freaking bastard. So we're not gonna go there.
Right.
But
forgive
the whole idea is the material realm is one of the lowest realms. After the material goes the astral plane. After the astral is the mental plane. After the mental is the edad plane. After edad is the monad. Yes, I know. Shut up, Roz. Don't say nothing about yes. If you're asking Roz, that is where his name's based on. Anyway, back to the match. Monad. Then after you become beyond the monad, or the Adma plane, I believe it's called, then you get to the Buddha plane. First off, the monad plane is beyond imagination. So anything you can think of or come up with, it's beyond that. Same with the Ida plane or the Adma plane, which is even greater than that. Like each of these are like hyperversal levels of how much higher they are. Because remember, the material world is infinite in the actual mythology. No matter how many materialistic or spatial objects you add or temporal, none of them go beyond the astral. Astral is not bounded by dimensions in the original mythology. Then the mental world is not bounded by the astral because mental imagination is infinite. Like, do you know how many things you can imagine? How many concepts you can make up and come up with? Now imagine being beyond that to the Eevee plane, and then the monad plane, and then the Buddha plane. So, yeah. Sorry. I'm actually going to have to say Sun Wukong literally fits the definition of what we were talking about outerversal.
Yeah, no, he does. Like the thing is, people don't realize, because the thing is, like, I've had to look into kind of like some aspects of Buddhism and all that kind of stuff just to kind of like get scales for Orochi, because some of Orochi's abilities are based off of that, based off of Buddhism and all that kind of stuff, such as the Wheel of Samsara, which has Hindu, Buddhist, all kinds of implications. Which Wheel of Samsara deals with like King Yema, essentially, if I were to put it in simple terms, who is a demon that essentially is above life and death. It can essentially send you to multiple different realms. Each of these realms are infinite. You have a demon realm, the Ashura realm. You have all these realms. The realm of the human, the realm of the soul.
Don't forget Hinduism, because Buddhism.
Hinduism. That's what I said, like Hindu, stuff like that.
Oh, okay,
it has all these realms. About, if I remember, it's like at the lowest we'll say 6. I think the highest is 9. And King Yema essentially is above all of this. Like, he transcends all of it. Like, he was granted the title of like a lesser Buddha by Buddha himself and was granted above all of this. They have Sun Wukong, who is above him and is up there alongside Buddha. Like, Sun Wukong is war Buddha, essentially. He is the Buddha of battle. Like, and it's true nirvana that transcends this everything. It doesn't matter if space, time, spirituality, metaphysicality, all those things, thought, it does not matter. Those things cannot reach them. That is how insane they are. No concept, no idea of an infinite transcending dimension or anything like that can reach where they are, according to Hindu, Buddhist, and freaking Shinto and some of those other mythologies out there. That is how insanely high Sun Wukong is. So the fact that some of y'all in here are sitting here like, oh, well, Goku is infinitely high outer, which Goku is infinitely high outer, which he's not. He's not
based off of the Wukong.
He's based off, but he's inspired off of, to put it more simply, because he's not completely like him.
Yeah.
So to say that and be like, well, he bought it. No. No, the frick he does not. Like, nah. Heck no. King Mob, I don't give a flying frick about the universal tree statement. That does not mean anything. Wukong would look at that thing and just be like, oh, cool, and flick it out of existence. That is how powerful he is.
He wouldn't even need to flick it. He wouldn't register. It wouldn't reger to him as a
It wouldn't
threat
register with
because
it. That is the whole purpose of true Nirvana.
It's not even on the astral infinities. It's like it needs to hit the astral infinities, which there are infinite transcending astral infinities. Which, if the one concept of astrality transcends all material planes or all spatial. That's just one, bro. Imagine an infinite number of them that transcend itself all the way until it gets into the mental plane. Imagine different mental levels of cognitive functions that infinitely transcend that. And then now let's go to the monad plane or the other like how many planes are there? Let's see. Let me type it. Let me type it in. By the way,
there's a lot of planes depending on which thing you go into.
Because there's the old Sanskrit Bibles that even go into more details. Which Roz hasn't. I'm pretty sure Roz and I haven't even gotten to read it all because Sanskrit is one of the hardest languages out there. But anyway, that's besides the point. By the way, you guys like my picture of Saitama?
It really is good.
But anyway. Just to finish up what I was saying real quick earlier before we get into this rabbit hole, I'm not saying Luffy can beat Saitama. I think Saitama will absolutely punch him. Luffy's whole body will explode and he'll die. If it's the Saitama that fought Garou. If it's base Saitama, until Luffy gets him to that point in degree, it's going to be hard. Mainly because Luffy already has, like, imagine him getting hit by moon level attacks. And then he hits him in the stomach and puts that moon level attack into Saitama's body. Now, Saitama can still tank it. Because, I mean, if his lungs can destroy a planet, well, So, obviously, a Saitama would be like, ooh. I'm pretty sure it'll make Saitama jump. Like, oh, god dang. Especially because Saitama's not enraged, where he has to bypass the pain that Garou was sending him. Because Garou inspired him and was at his level. So, if he gets hit, Saitama gets hit by that, he's going to be, like, shocked. And he's going to get excited. If Luffy doesn't start to end the battle there, to kind of like catch Saitama off guard and knock him out, which I don't even know if he'd be able to do that. That'd be hard. Then it's going to be a GG's. Gear 5 is going to be interesting because I don't even think Saitama would be able to catch or touch Luffy or hurt him because Luffy is just going to be way faster. Evidentially, though, with enough abuse, who knows? But we also have to factor in, Roz, that Luffy can turn Saitama into rubber. and kind of Toon Force mess with, not Toon Force, but you know what I mean, just kind of gag him out with a lot of these stupid, silly things. Like, oh, his head's bald. And Saitama's like, wait, did Luffy just grow in size? He's like, grows into a giant, starts stomping on him, and then Saitama does something, and Luffy's head kind of splits like a little fiction, like a rubber, it melts into like this rubbery thing, and he starts laughing. So then it's just like, yeah, this battle is going to go on for a long time. Even though Saitama is clearly stronger, Luffy's faster and more silly and more precognition hacks and durability bypass hacks. And Luffy getting stronger as the battle goes on, Saitama getting stronger. It's going to not stop until Luffy's Gear 5 runs out and then Saitama wins. That's what I'm kind of trying to say here. Of course, unless Luffy makes Saitama as strong as he was versus Garou, where Saitama hits him with a bunch of star-ending attacks. Then we have a problem.
Oh, man.
But yeah, something going on in the chat that I'm missing.
At this point, I'm just...
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just like,
Yeah. I believe it's something about, there's the physical world, which includes all things physical. There's the lower astral plane. We know there's a mid and high astral planes. Then there's the mental plane, the Buddhic plane, and the Admic plane. But I believe the Admic plane is the only plane higher than that.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like true Nirvana that transcends all of that. essentially.
Yeah.
And then if you include the
And monad is the highest, yeah.
if you include the Wheel of Samsara, then you have like other realms as well, such as the Diva realm. Which, fun fact, it's common knowledge when everyone knows this. The 6 passive pains are actually based off of the Wheel of Samsara. So you have the Deva path, the animal path, the human path, all those things. Those are based off of the actual Wheel of Samsara from like Buddhist and Hindu and all that stuff in mythology. And each of those are their actual own realms and things like that, along with, containing like your actual very own metaphysical universe within your body and all that kind of stuff that you can use to make yourself self-transcend and all that kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like the Titan world and the like animal world. And I know like Indra is actually in Buddhism too. Indra, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah. It is.
And yeah, and they got the rebirth, the age, and the dying, ignorance. Those are all concepts that are below the Buddha plane. Those don't matter to the Buddha plane. That's why it's kind of hard to like, because like Outerversal may be the entry level for some Wukong, because it's like that's the thing, it's entry level. Like, because it's like, he's way beyond that, so it becomes troublesome to really explain.
Oh man.
But yeah, True Nirvana. I believe is True Nirvana higher than the monad plane?
Yeah. True Nirvana is like where, beings like Buddha is at, because Buddha transcends literally all of those planes.
Yeah. Because Buddhic plane may be lower than the Admic and Monadic plane and the Logic plane, or something like that. The Logic, I forgot what it was called. It may be lower than that, but it technically isn't. But that's not where Buddha's capped at, like the original Sanatama Dharma.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially once Buddha achieved his own version, like true enlightenment, became like who he was, like all those planes were essentially like nothing. Like those planes, like in some cases, those planes reside like within Buddha himself, and it still doesn't mean anything to him. Like it's insanity with how crazy it can get. Like, just think about this, like a higher dimensional universe, essentially, right? Was like the middle of Buddha's hand. Not even really the middle. It's like a small portion of Buddha's hand. And that's what Sun Wukong had to jump across to try and get off of. And he still couldn't. He didn't move anywhere.
Exactly. And you guys now, it's kind of funny that now you kind of know the actual inspiration of my character, Monad. And you probably know like why Chakra was, let's just say, represented by the ethnicity she looked like, right? It's adding up. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna go back over the chat and see what some of the verses that we missed here, because that set me off. I'm not gonna lie. That set me off.
It's all good.
All right, so we got Hirudegar versus Ophis. Don't know who Ophis is. There's Siki, Katsukoku versus Kami Tenchi.
Thank you so much, Real Radio. Appreciate the.
You talked about Sanatama versus Luffy already.
Out of this dimension speed and overwhelming power. Goku versus Jiren beyond dimension speed. Oh, yeah. Well, when they say out of this dimension, it's likely saying like speed that's beyond even what the world of Void can really like handle, or like what most people could perceive. Because obviously Beerus and them knew what was going on still, and Whis and Xeno and Grand Priest. But it kind of just goes into, details. Man, nobody commented on my Saitama drawing. What do you think, Roz, by the way?
Stride commented on it, and I commented on it, I believe.
Oh, thanks, guys. I don't know what you guys said, though.
So let's see. Let's see, it's Stabby Goku. How strong is DMC 3 Dante compared to DMC 1? Okay, to put it simply, Stabby Goku. DMC 3 Dante was essentially equal to Virgil at the end of the game. And Virgil got bodied by Mundus at the end of DMC3. While DMC1, Dante could beat Mundus, who could create universes in the middle of their fight, battle him through a void, and all those other kinds of things as well.
Yeah, and starts playing around with those type of guys in Devil May Cry 2, right?
Yeah, and that was just in Devil May Cry 1. If you use Pinnacle of Combat, or Peak of Combat, I forgot what it's called, the mobile game, which is canon, that follows DMC3 Dante. DMC3 Dante also fought the original Demon King, who created like the demon world and hell. Because it would like to separate chaos from the universe and come and create other universes as well.
Wow.
Which means that
I hate to cut you off, but I just want to say thanks, Harvado, for the $4.99 donation. Lupin the Third has some fun scaling. I have only seen it when I was young and watching it on Adult Swim. I hated it because I wanted to watch Inuyasha, and I hated how it was about detective stuff. I'm like, this is all education. I just want violence, big. I'm not gonna say it on stream. I just wanted violence and fighting characters and anime girls and stuff. I just want to see fights. I don't want to watch this detective crap. But now I might give it a shot because I did hear it's one of the greatest all times, just like Cowboy Bebop. So yeah, definitely. Thank you. Also, Donaz, thank you so much for the
Jiren, what the frick are you on?
Wait, according to these guys, Sun Wukong can't beat everyone, including Marvel, DC, anime, but Goku and base on.
What are you on? What?
What?
Goku is inspired by Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
Inspired, not based off of.
And the thing is, I mean, yeah, I get it. If you're talking about Death of the Endless, Dream of the Endless, and all that stuff are really complicated. Like, I even said it. Like, I'm being transparent. I don't think Xeno Goku would be able to fight Death of the Endless or those characters. I mean, well, okay, maybe I'm a little wrong in that. I feel like he could fight them for a little bit, but I don't think he has what it takes. I think someone like Whis or the Grand Priest could, because the Grand Priest can't die. Whis can die through a specific rule. Death of the Endless might be able to exploit that rule. So, unless that condition was removed, like on the Grand Priest, I don't think anyone but the Grand Priest can deal with it. Now, if you're talking about Xeno or the Grand Priest, then I'm like, all right, maybe we got a little something going on, because literally the Grand Priest, he has the monad triangle on his shirt, which, I mean, that's not obviously saying too much, because it's an upside down triangle, if I recall, and on his belt it does say Omni. But again, we don't know what the Grand Priest is capable of. I will say this, though. The fact is that he can blink away his entire verse. Like, I wish I was joking when I said blink. I'm not joking. Like, literally, it's not a problem for him. Kind of indicates that the Grand Priest is the only exception of characters who I would say, like, could run through Marvel or DC with no problem and only have struggle against Lucifer, Michael, maybe, and Beyonder and such. Can Beyonder beat the Grand Priest? To be honest with you, with Xeno Grand Priest, even I would have to say I don't know. Even I have to say I don't know to that, because I don't know what his limits are. I don't know if he was even designed to have limits, because literally even in the card games are like, oh, he doesn't have a known power. In fact, he doesn't have a power cap at all. The only one above him is Xeno, and we don't even know if Xeno is above him, because they claim that they had him. I believe there was a note thing that showed that he was like more of the assistant of Xeno, kind of implying Xeno can't really erase the Grand Priest if he wanted. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into that.
Oh my god.
Is Ramiro Tempest boundless? It's Stabby Goku, to be honest with you? No, he's not. It's okay, though, if you think so, but I'm just going to let you know. There's nothing that Ramiro has to really be so. Man, I'm wondering who I can draw next. Roz, we need someone. How about I draw Gumball?
Yeah, try Gumball then.
I was gonna draw Gumball. I was actually gonna draw that.
So Atari, Goku versus Arceus or the entire Pokemon verse.
Goku? The freak kind of question is that? Sorry, I didn't mean to say it. I slipped. Ooh, you said number 11. No, but like for real, Goku, please. I watch Pokemon. I've read the comics. Look, bro. Goku was one punch. He literally going to look at Arceus and punch his fist in base, and the whole verse is going to go, and that's it. I don't know why people even think that's a compliment. Oh, Arceus is multiversal. Like, no, he's more like mid-complex multiversal, actually, but he's still getting folded. That don't matter. Goku, bing, that's it. That's the battle. It's done. If it was Geese, same thing. Boom. Oh, can I have your... Oh, are you going to steal my powers? And Geese is like, hell no, you suck. Let's be honest. That's kind of what would happen, Roz.
Yeah, I think Jiren is really trying to test me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jiren is really trying to test me.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I mean, we have to also factor in that not everyone knows everything about the verses we're talking about, which is why they're going to have opposing opinions. I don't know who else I can draw in this picture. Who else can I draw?
Draw Geese.
Geese next to Saitama and Luffy? Well, I want to draw someone who, like, people will know outside. Well, I know people know Geese, but I mean, like, I want to try to think of someone else. Like, what show is popular right now that also can be in this picture?
I have no idea. I've kind of...
You kind of what?
So I got distracted by Donez's suggestion in our chat. Gappy with Soft and Wet Go Beyond versus Shinra. So, to put it simply, I kind of showed Joker a little bit of some latest Jojo stuff that I remember seeing when JoJolion ended. You know, part 8 of Jojo.
Mm-hmm.
But so essentially, part 8's main protagonist, Josuke or Gappy, at some point, his stance Soft and Wet achieved an evolution called Go Beyond. And with that, he gained the ability to, you know, create a spin for his bubbles. But the thing is, his spin, the spin for his bubbles spins so fast that it reaches like an infinite and transcends dimensions up to like down to like 0 or something like that. It's complete insanity. And with that, with those bubbles, it can negate essentially abilities and kill someone who, according to Hirohiko Araki, was the strongest villain in this series so far, named Wonder Review, in which Wonder Review manipulates something called Calamity, which transcends all concepts such as gravity, time, all this kind of stuff, and all of that comes from Calamity. And Wonder Review manipulates it. Nothing can escape it. All people are bound to Calamity. In fact, it's to the point where even if you try to fight against Calamity itself, you yourself will die immediately in response. Because it's you trying to fight against a force that goes beyond the very concepts of fate, time, gravity, you know, and so much more. That's the actual lore. That's the actual lore behind it. And that means that it's stronger than a character like D4C, who in the official guidebook, according to Hirohiko Araki himself, transcends dimensions and numerical dimensions.
Interesting. Also, I just want to say thank you again for the $4.99 donation to Dark King. And RJ, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Buddha's truth, omnipotent, Buddha's truth, omnipotent, truth, omniscience, and truth, omnipresence, truth, boundless versus Cthulhu, I think that says. Cthulhu, Mythos, Marvel, Anime, SPC, and DC. Buddha. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but probably Buddha. Actually, no. It's a stalemate. Because, I mean, the presence ain't losing. He's omnipotent. The one beyond, above all, is not losing. He's omnipotent, and based on Buddhism, anyway. Buddha themselves, they're not going to lose. It's just a stalemate. There's no winner. They would know themselves there's nothing that can happen. That we are all one and the same. We are the truth. We are the ultimate, whatever. In fact, I don't even have the human words to describe how a battle like that would go. What do you think, though, Roz?
pretty much I'm in the same mindset as you when it comes to that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, what are we supposed to say? You know,
It's it it's like essentially putting like a toddler up against God to put it like at the most basic of levels. You have a toddler who could throw like a 1-year-old punch that's not going to do anything to you, versus like God who can just like, huh, what are you trying to do? What you trying to do? That is essentially what that equivalent is
it's funny
when you're trying to like put these characters up against each other.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I didn't even notice that Stride wrote his comment to what I'm doing right now, because like I just noticed he wrote that, and I'm actually doing that. I literally just picked Ichigo without even reading his comment. Stride has like hockey, bro.
Yeah. We definitely not doing that, Dark Knight. We are not doing that. Nope.
Sun Wukong versus God in Christianity.
We aren't doing that.
I got an answer. I'll do it if Roz won't.
Listen, I do not power scale my God. I'm sorry. Like I'm not putting him in a pointless battle that I know he can win.
He technically did it. Let's go. Ding, 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 ding. All right, honestly,
yeah,
like,
I did it on purpose there.
Yeah, Sun Wukong is not it's not completely omnipotent. Like God, obviously, the God in Christianity is going to win. That's that's a no brainer. Even his son Christ is going to win. That's no brainer. The Holy Spirit is going to win. That's no brainer. Michael, the archangel, is going to win. That's a no brainer. And you might be like, how? Because they are powered up by God, and so they're not listening. It's like, wait, so they're all omnipotent? Yes. But can God be beyond omnipotence? Yes, because he made that concept itself. So it doesn't. It's a point. That's probably and like I'm only saying this as in like just to like that is a banned question, not because I can't answer it. It's banned because it provides no substance and it doesn't. The answer is always going to be obvious. It's always going to be obvious. There's not a single character you can throw in that'll stand a chance. Heck, they won't even stand a chance. The meaning of chance has no conceptualized. Let me stop before I get to a rabbit hole. Anyway, now a better battle would be Ichigo versus Saitama.
Ichigo. I don't know. Why are you asking?
Father versus father. Hey yo, let's see. Like, what do y'all think of this picture, guys? Y'all think this is lit? You think Ichigo got a little too much swag and he outswags the? No, I'm just kidding. That doesn't make any sense. All right, let's do the obvious. Let's tip, 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 tip. Anyway, Roz, what are your honest thoughts on the end from the Sonic game?
Oh, so the end from Sonic Frontiers?
Yeah.
Busted, because going off of lore, the end, because essentially Sonic Frontiers does confirm events from like Sonic Forces and Sonic 06 and all, which means that the end, and Sonic Generations, which means that the end would scale above beings like the Time Eater, whose whole thing is that he could eat timelines. And that in this fight with you, in your fight against them, like you're seeing pieces of those timelines getting coughed up in broken segments and all from each game that had been released. That means it was scale above Solaris, who was existing across the past, present, and future, was going to delete the timeline across those three areas as well.
Yeah. Thank you. It's Happy Goku. I appreciate it. I try my best to make these look good.
And then you have Infinite, who, for promotional material, was promoted to be the strongest villain that Sonic had ever faced yet at that point, which means that Infinite technically should be above things like Time Eater and Solaris as well, but that one's debatable. And then you have N, who just has eaten countless universes and is the literal void that comes to consume all things. Like, I don't know what you expect me to see on that one. Sonic literally fought a void and won. That's kind of insane. Like, I don't know what you want to see on that one.
I have nothing to say besides just exactly. I know my buddy thinks that Solaris might still be strong. He said Solar. I know my buddy said Solaris. I would say is stronger just because of feats. But he says, he said the end would be second. But he said, but the end statements for Frontiers just made Solaris all the more impressive. I kind of get what he's saying because he was saying like it took 3 hedgehogs to fight Solaris, and and Sonic still needed help against the end. So I get where he's coming from. And he also said it's also finicky. He said it's very debatable though. So he said it's kind of like I gave him the Chronicle and Onaga example. He's like, yeah, it's kind of something like that. It's like we know who would be the winner. The lore kind of implies Blank is the strongest, but the true strongest is kind of this character. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Here's where I see it. Like you have Solaris who can, yes, you have 3 hedgehogs who fought him across 3 different timelines, but they're all helping each other out essentially, just like how Sonic needed help against the end. So that's not really an anti-feat in that regard. Both required assistance to beat.
And Sonic is stronger in this game too, technically.
Yeah, he's technically way stronger than he was in like 06.
Because he understands how to use the Chaos Emeralds much better.
Yeah.
Whereas in 06, that was Silver's first time. Oh, shizzle! Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. That's just a spider. I got scared. I thought it was a tarantula. Get your ass out of my face. Anyway, back to the match. So, anyway. Exactly. And that's what I was kind of talking about when it comes to that. God dang, man. I'm not going to lie. I like this picture of Ichigo, Saitama, and Luffy. All planet busters.
Like, essentially, that kind of thing would be like, who do you think would win between...
And one more thing I want to point out. Notice how me and Roz didn't agree with the Luffy and Natsu example, yet we're not fighting each other. That's how you guys need to be. Stop trying to kill each other over... Oh,
Based
shoot!
on the scan you showed, would Xeno's realm be akin to DC New God's realm that is outside the multiverse and those who enter it become enlarged?
Uncertified hater. I would agree. I agree to that sentiment. I think that might be the case. It could be. Or you could just say it's a different level of reality that's just kind of what happens. So there is that. But I would agree to that sentiment. It does make a little bit more sense that way. What the hell are you doing? Get off of my seat. If you're going to make a spider web, make it over there, bro. Shooting your button cheek milk all over my freaking ceiling. Oh, these are webs. Shut up. Like, god dang. Just stay in a corner and capture bugs. I don't need you. Alright, you know what? I'm going to beat this spider's ass. Be right back.
Rob, even with that scan you sent me, that still doesn't place Goku at like outer.
Die, fool! Die! Alright, back to the match. Alright, now let me go say a quick prayer to ask for forgiveness for taking that little insect's life, which I don't technically have the right to do. So,
I mean, it was in your house. It was trespassing. It's self-defense.
Nah, I love animals, so I don't know. I actually do feel bad, but maybe I should have put it in a cup and bring it outside. Hopefully he revives because I only hit him once. I didn't keep slapping him. So maybe he's just crippled with eternal bleeding. PETA. And just PETA starts coming. PETA just starts coming in. Hey! What are you doing? There's a spider! There's a spider! There's a spider!
Please.
Spider! I know,
PETA tortures
Stabby.
animals themselves.
Alright, so Stabby, let me correct you on that real quick. Spiders are insects. It's just some baboon said, let's call it an arachnid. So yeah. And I'll show you the original. Here, no. Let's go to the Noah Webster. Hold up. You know I love this. You know we had to, Roz. We got to do the Noah Webster, of course.
Yep, we'll do it.
Noah Webster. Here we go. There you go. Definition. Spider. So spider. I know not from what source this word is derived. Wow, even Noah Webster doesn't even know where the word came from. Interesting. Now, the common name of the insects of the genus Arania, remarkable for spinning webs for taking their prey and forming a convenient habitation, and for the deposits of their food, the spider's touch. How exquisitely fine. That's Noah Webster giving his own definition on the spider and based on research. This book is out, and keep in mind, this is one of the most accurate sources for dictionaries today. Nowadays, we call it arachnid, but back in the day, it wasn't called that. It was just an insect because that's what it was. The arachnids would be part of the shellfish, which is a lobster and a crab, which is similarly related to the spider to a degree. Well, actually, lobster is related to the cockroach. But anyway, it's similar in those cases in regards, but at the same time, it still falls into the category. Oh, it has 8 legs, not 6. I'm like, okay. And? Hold up. Caterpillar. God dang it. Type in a word. Sheesh. I forgot. Certain animals didn't even have names or weren't even discovered back in the 1800s. But anyway, bottom line is, that's the definition. All right. If it looks like an insect, tastes like one, then it's an insect. I mean, it pretty much is. Like, Roz, imagine back in the day when, like, information was simple. Like, let's be honest. From you know how, like, in biblical points, like, everything is kind of simplified? In a biblical simplified fashion, a spider is pretty much a dang insect. Would you agree?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, they have mandibles. They literally have the same anatomy as an insect. Oh, they got 8 legs. Okay, that's it? Yeah. But they have 8 eyes. Okay, flies got 100. Your point?
Is Jiren saying that you and I can't scale Dragon Ball?
Sorry, these dudes can't power scale Dragon Ball. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, seeing as how we've been doing it for years, I don't...
It's okay.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
If you think so. But he might be referring to somebody else. I don't know the context.
Possibly. Maybe someone in chat, but...
Yeah.
If you're about us, and I'm sitting there like, okay. I mean, I've only been discussing Dragon Ball in terms of power scaling since I was like 13.
Yeah. And also, I don't think Zalama is going to solo anyone. Solos all of most of anime, most Marvel and DC. Okay, he said all of most. I thought he said all of them. Like, all of them. Like, he ain't getting by. Zalama ain't getting by the one above all. Or the Presence. Or Elaine. But, yeah. Anyway, bottom line. They are at least better than Versus Battle Wiki, capping every character besides Xeno at Universal. I mean, I literally said Goku's high complex multiversal at 11th dimensional with facts and evidence to back it up, unlike the wiki. And I literally say Xeno and Grand Priest in the main canon of Dragon Ball are low hyperversal. What more do you want? Like, dang.
And for me, I put Goku at low to just complex, low complex to regular complex on my end. So
yeah.
Pretty much, regardless, you and I both had him within the complex ranges.
Yeah. Exactly. Within the logic of the actual cosmology,
Serious.
we can at least agree Xeno could be low hyper, but like he's like the one anomaly throughout the entire series who's confirmed to be able to destroy the whole cosmology.
Exactly.
So like Xeno being low hyper, no complaints. Nobody's really gonna complain about that. So yeah, Xeno's on the realm of reverse. Cool. Let's not
go that far.
I mean, I think he is. If we're just capping reverse at 12th dimensional, yeah, I would say Xeno's around that level.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, remember what I talked to you about before the stream ended? Before we started the stream? When I said we could upscale Otama? That would go to verse and reverse as well.
All right, now you see, now you just chill, bro. You can't come on. That's god dang. We call him Xeno verse now and Xeno reverse now. And we got capsule geese. You wrote no I'm playing. Nah, but in all seriousness though, the thing is, when you do power scaling, you never want to do power scaling for the sake of, I need to get this character as strong as possible so they can whoop everyone's ass. Like, no, you don't. The goal should be to get the most accurate information as possible. Unlike these baboons, you want to get the most accurate information possible, so that way you can at least say, hey, we're trying, we're doing it, it's happening. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Old man is right. But all right, guys, this has been, I think it's time we about conclude. The night is getting late. It's already 10 o'clock. I have yet to eat, and I'm hungry. Now, Roz, I am thinking about going out to get some chicken wings.
Yeah, well, I'm about to cook some Philly cheesesteak here.
All
so
right, see, nah, chill. Nope, see, nope. Now I'm gonna just make me a bacon turkey cheese sandwich now, and save my money.
There you go.
Yeah, Saturday, Sabbath. Hey, it's time to just chill and eat. So, with that said, guys, last thing is, don't start fighting each other over. Hey, thank you, it's Stabby Goku. I appreciate you guys and everyone else who's donated and sent their support, and everyone else who's participated to the chat. I want to give you my honest and true thanks and gratitude. You guys are outstanding. I just want to let you know an honest truth is that don't let any of this stuff be personal.
Yeah,
it's like, and I guarantee you, everything Roz said, don't take it personal. Like we say, we are attacking the argument. We're not attacking the person, and we'll make it clear that we're not attacking you. See, when it starts to become when it starts to become an ad hominem, then I mean, I'm sorry, bro. He's going to slam you down with some judo techniques, and he's going to go psyche on your ass. But anyway, besides that, see, and that's being nice, because I could have said an even more savage character. But in my opinion, the Dark Knight, I think Sun Wukong can clear or stop around some of the top tiers at the SCP, but I have to no, he clears. Probably, more than likely the case, unless SCP has a character of similar comparison.
SCP has God.
All right, so yeah, he stops there. So, yeah, basically, long story short, that's going to be it for the stream. Guys, don't take any of this stuff personal. Sometimes we say it may come off a little bit as rude. I try to be a lot more nicer because that's just that's just me. Think of me like Kyo, and think of Roz like Iori. Okay, there you go.
Oh my god.
Roz is nice, but only if you're nice to him, because otherwise he'll kill. No, let me stop. Demonetized.
I'm definitely a lot. Oh man, I'm definitely a lot more sharper tongued and a lot more blunt compared to you in most regards.
Mm-hmm. But we all have the same thoughts. Like, we know there's a baboon acting like a baboon. We know he's a baboon. I'm just gonna call you a baboon out in a nice way. So I'm gonna call you a baboon. So basically, I'm gonna slap you with truth, but I'm gonna do it with a boxing glove. Roz is just not gonna put the glove on. That's the difference. They still hurt. So regardless,
hang on. I'm gonna link a clip in the chat that pretty much describes me when someone like says some baboonery around me. Let's see if I can find it.
Freaking claustrophobic mustard and mayonnaise baboons.
Literally.
Even Dad or Vegeta might not have been able to beat that Cell monster. But I really feel like that might be Gohan talking about moral arc Goku Vegeta. I hope it is.
Seeing as how it's confirmed that this does in fact take place immediately after the Granola arc, and that the new manga is going to be a prequel to the movie. Yeah, I think that means it's stronger than
God dang. Yeah. I mean, that's cool. I just think, again, I know I always vent about this. Look, guys, when Cell Max came to the picture, first thing they should have did. First thing they should have did. Oh, is this Cell Max? Yeah, that's Cell Max. how are we gonna implement him in the story? I mean, we did that bullcrap with Frieza. It's like, bro, to make the story better, here's what you had to do. Frieza, Resurrection F, all you had to do is has Frieza train and learn about God Key or something like that, and utilize this as a way to evolve. And he's like, my father used to talk about blah 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 and gods, and have Frieza have a mini arc where he goes on an adventure and finds about the gods, and he like, interrogates one. You will show me about this God Key so that I can extract it myself. And then, bam, Frieza starts learning about it and actually learns to maintain it. Hey, thank you so much, RJ. Thank you so much for the $4.99 donation. Do me a video of Xeno Goku versus Orthogonus Accelerator and True Gremlin. I could do one of those. I can do one. If you pick Accelerator, I'll probably get it to you faster because I know a little bit more about them. If you pick the other, it's going to be a little bit longer because I'd have to study them. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, Andre. Not Andre. Sorry, I sent the clip I was talking about in the chat, live chat. You might want to scroll up just a bit. That's literally me with some excessive baboonery.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Deep. Yo, that scream gave me chills. That was freaking hype. Oh, that's amazing. Hold on, let me lower it so the frame rate doesn't go bananas. That was so cool. Yo, that is so cool, Ross. Thank you for sharing that, because that's what you go. But like, it's like when you put the scan in their face. And they can't deny it.
Yep.
Nerds. So basically, to give you like the last part I was gonna say is that, in my opinion, like Frieza should have went on an adventure, go on a search for like a true meaning or answer. Maybe what they could have did with Dragon Ball is they could have had like secret scrolls, and Frieza said, "So here talk that on an ancient planet outside of those Namekians, there exists a scroll that talks about ancient levels of energy utilizing ki. And I guess I'll learn a little bit about it before myself." Frieza goes out, goes to go to the freaking place. Then he's like, he does this. He steals the scroll by force and says, "So in order to exact it, you have to elevate your mind to a level beyond mortals." It's astonishing. With this, I'll become a god myself. Yes, and then like they show Frieza studying it, blah blah blah, and then he's like, "I shall be known as God Frieza."
So not to cut you off real quick. Goku Black, that's a fan theory. That's nothing confirmed.
Yeah, that's
Right, go on.
Yeah, that is a fan theory. The last thing I would say is like, bro, he says he's a God Frieza, and then they like, "I made something for you, your lordship. I put God Frieza." And you put an extra L. Well, Gold Frieza. You know what? We'll leave it. This will be Golden Frieza. It's something like that. I don't know. Sounds cheesy, but it's Dragon Ball. Anyway, there you go. Now Frieza's Golden Frieza. Now we got some story and elements as to how he unlocked it. Goku should not use Blue versus Frieza, but God. Blue he should unlock in the Goku Black arc when he gets mad and angry. Vegeta gets shocked and it's like, "How did you do that, Kakarot?" Blah, blah, blah. They go and fight in the arc. Boom, boom, bing, 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 bing. They try to fuse. Don't bring Super Vegito until a little bit later, in my opinion. I think Vegito Blue is fine. I think how they did it was fine. They could still do everything else the same, but I would just say find a way to introduce Blue into that portion of the series, or have an extra arc where he gets Blue. That's what I would think, because you don't want God to. You want God to have its shining moments. I would actually no Universe 6 tournament. They could have had Super Saiyan Blue right there. Bam. Instead of the Kaioken, save the Kaioken for later. Keep the Blue there. Keep everything else in the Zamasu arc fine. It was a great arc. Go over to the Tournament of Power if you want. Personally, I would have squeezed in the Broly movie before the Tournament of Power. Personally, like, because when Goku was going Super Saiyan Blue, when he has that little white hair, that's like, that could have been the teaser we wanted. And then in the Tournament of Power, we then see it. It could go either way. It doesn't bother me, but it's just kind of like a throw it in there. Just because I feel like Broly should be strong, but I don't feel like he should be like that strong. But that's just because if you want to do good writing, you want to show that these guys are gods. These guys are crazy characters. And if anything, showing Broly has max potential, that's one thing. But like, I don't know. I feel like just kind of having ass pull characters like, I'm really strong. Ah! It's like dumb. Moro, the reason we loved him is because he steals power. He steals energy. So it worked well with Moro. Every other character, they don't really do that. So it doesn't really work the same. So that's why it's not really the same. You know what I mean, Roz? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Moro isn't really of the same stature or level. He's strong, but he's not, he didn't, and Granola wished for his power, so it's like, okay. But it just is annoying because everyone just gets to wish for it and catch up to Goku Vegeta. I think that's just dumb.
I love how Demon Bane just randomly shares like some information about Ignis out of nowhere.
Good. We need more information like that. Somehow Vegeta surprised of Goku Blue from form despite training with Goku for 3 years. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Andre. It's like they didn't really do this well. Like, I feel like that should have been the case. I feel like Black Frieza was cool. Like, I think Goku trying to use MUI, but what I would have done is Goku tries to go into MUI and he's like, I still don't yet understand this form. And then he's mostly using Omen. And let Omen be Goku's signature form. Never let it de-glorify. The scans of gas hitting Goku in MUI, dumb. Remove it. Remove it from the series. No excuse, no friend, no family member, not even my own wife can convince me that was good writing. As a writer myself, that was absolutely terrible. Do not put down the one ultimate form we have of Goku. Let that form keep its glory. You de-glorify. Well, he didn't have all of his anger. Like, yeah, I had to break that down, and fortunately, I was right, thanks to Toyotaro confirming it. Yeah, that wasn't Goku's true MUI because he had his emotions attached. But it's still stupid because it gives people a misdirection. Because, like, if you go by what Toyotaro's saying, technically, Broly and Moro and Jiren are all stronger than Granola and Gas. Which is hard to believe because Toriyama's usually like, the last enemy was the strongest, blah, 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 blah. It's like, and Toyotaro's like, yeah, but that's boring. So that's good, but it's so confusing to most audience, which is why people think Kid Buu is weaker than Buhan, which he shouldn't be because that wasn't the intention. But the way he wrote the story, he made it sound like that, and it's just like, come on, bro, come on. But anyway, I'm not gonna knock Toriyama; he's still a legend. I'm just saying that I feel like what they should have done are those examples, and then we would have had a great series. Oh, and like I said, I'm saying this one more time. Gohan's form should have been called Shin Gohan #1. He should have trained with the Fat Kaioshin that was present in the Moro arc because the Dai Kaio is the Supreme Kai of the Supreme Kais. So Supreme Kai is the Lord of Lords, but the Dai Kaio is the Lord of Lords. So they could have literally said, hey, here you go. Let me train with, like, and then they could have had him say, let me teach you about God Ki, Gohan. You see, you have your ultimate form, but that's not your potential. Your potential continuously rises as you train. And Gohan learns about it. And then he goes and trains with him after losing against Cell in the movie. And they could have had it quickly. So he goes through a training, and then they go through a montage where Gohan's training and meditating in different ways. And he teaches him the Kaioshin. Because that, like, let's be honest, that would have been the complete path. Goku follows the angelic way, Vegeta the god of destruction way, Broly the Saiyan roots berserk way, and Gohan the Kaioshin way, in a sense. Like a Kaioshin human kind of way. Oh, I'm going on the path of a human and a Saiyan. I'm like, nah, just do the Kaioshin one. Let the human Saiyans...
I think Gohan's path is supposed to be more just like the Saiyan human hybrid path.
I agree.
I think that's just like the main thing that they're going for with him.
Yeah.
Broly is still up for debate, honestly.
Yeah, I just think that for writing purposes, to have that perfect quad triangle, it would have been beautiful if Gohan, as far as combat goes, the Kaioshin path, and they could have actually had some connection in lore, like how Kaioshin and humans have some type of relationship connection. And it's like, wait, why? Why? Is it because humans are one of the only creatures in this universe who could X, Y, Z? You guys have created religions, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and we see that humans have been blah, 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 blah. And human potential has never been unlocked. And he could talk about that and say, you have unlocked your Saiyan potential, but you've yet to unlock your human potential. And yet, what if I could teach you that of the gods? You could combine the god, like, and it would just be interesting. So Shin Gohan could literally be a mix of Ultimate Gohan and God Ki. It's just like Goku. Super Saiyan Blue is going Super Saiyan with God Ki. So if they did that with Shin Gohan, the story writing would have been raw. It would have been perfect. It would have made sense. It would have add up, and it would have made it feel so rewarding because he could have told Gohan that technique, and then now Gohan's using somewhat God Ki in his battle, and then it's like then he breaks and goes berserk, and he just goes against all odds. It's like, wait, did he just break the odds and just somehow learn how to mix it in that? I thought you had to be calm. Nah, not Gohan. Gohan doesn't have to be calm, unlike Goku Vegeta's method. So it's like, yeah, Gohan could, because this will open up theories. It's like, could Gohan, because like then at the end of the movie they could have teased something and Krillin be like, Gohan, or like Piccolo could be like, Gohan, I didn't know you knew how to use God Ki. I honestly still don't understand it much, or something like that. He's like, and then something's like, wow, you use that? Would it technically mean you can go blue like your dad? He's like, I don't know. And then could kind of just tease that. Like, I don't know. There's so much I wish I wrote I wish I was writing it. Oh, so much potential. That's okay. No, Super Saiyan 3, bro. Nah, hell.
That'd be too much.
No.
Let's be honest. Akari Broly was able to tangle with up to like Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta combined. Well, not Vegeta, but up to Super Saiyan Blue Goku. They get Super Saiyan Broly taking on Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta and whooping on them both. I don't think Broly going Super Saiyan 3 would fare well for really anyone at that point. Because even with superhero standards, Broly is still considered like up in like Jiren tiers according to Vegeta. So like, which backs up the fact that the movie directors, Toriyama, and things like that saying that Broly is like the strongest. So I mean, because even he said that, if Cell Master are actually complete, not even Broly could beat him. Meaning that, he sees Broly as the strongest as of right now, with Jiren going off the dialogue of the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when you have if you have two Jiren level opponents like that, I don't know what to do on that one.
Yo, I have the old comments from that comic line. Can you explain how your arbitrary... See, first off, let's break this down. First problem, can you explain how your arbitrarily numbered dimensions are infinitely larger than the previous ones?
Is that Invid?
No, that's Divine, that other guy. I thought it was Divine from the server with Lumi in them, but no, it's not. It's a different Divine. And it's just like, can you explain how your arbitrary... First off, the problem is you say your arbitrary... Like, get rid of the your. It's not up to ownership. Anyway, arbitrarily numbered dimensions. First off, they're not arbitrary because they're literally described based on spatial subsets and assets on dimensionality. Very basic. Length, width, depth. So what's arbitrary about that? Tell me, Roz. You know what arbitrary means, but I don't think this person knows what arbitrarily means.
They don't.
Yeah, they're just kind of throwing in words to kind of just straw.
They're trying to sound smart. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to use big words to make them sound smart. That's
pretty much.
That's all it is.
Numbered dimensions are infinitely larger than the previous ones. Simple. And what makes you think this is universally applicable towards all fiction when neither real life nor fiction follows it? First of all, you can't assume fiction doesn't follow it because Yumineko follows it. And freaking KOF and SNK follows it.
Don't get me started on KOF.
DC and Marvel follow it. Misfits of Demon Academy with Anos Voldigold follows it. Even though, Misfits doesn't use numeric numbers. But Umineko, KOF, they kind of imply... KOF uses more... It's difficult with KOF. But anyway, the main point is, Umineko is definitely one. Marvel and DC do use numeric values. And it says, what makes you think these are universally applicable towards all fiction? Nobody said it is. We don't think it's universally applicable because not all fiction treats their dimensions the same. What did I say? I said this. Oh yeah, back when I used to think Quantum Superman was 8th dimension, and then we found out no, he was just in a Mobius loop, and he was just reading a book. Certainly, let's take Quantum Superman's explanation. Just as a 3D being looks at a lower 2D being occupying a space infinitely orthogonal to the previous dimension, the extra spatial axis gives a higher range of motion. As a result, this range is allowed to express a greater number. Imagine if I told you to destroy a two-dimensional plane. It has width and length, both are infinite. Now imagine I told you to destroy a three-dimensional cube, same size, but this time it has depth, an extra axis you can tangle with. This is the basis for one dimension being higher. Now, there are strings and quantum components that fold down smaller than a subatom and vibrate within the current universe. But the expression in fiction is that the existence itself occupies an extra spatial infinity that the lower does not. Even in M theory, destroying a Minkowski timeline is a fourth dimensional level feat. But destroying a fifth dimensional structure that is infinitely orthogonal, larger in the space than a 4D object, is even more impressive. The context and expression upon the fiction matters. What's that key word? The context and expression upon the fiction matters. So it depends on what the context is on the dimensions and how the fiction expresses it. I used to dismiss dimensional tiering 6 years ago or so due to it being arbitrary, but turns out the purpose of its existence is to help scale more accurately. Other examples. In Dragon Ball, the universe is infinite, but the afterlife exists in a direction that transcends the temporal lower realm and all other dimensions invisible to the human world. Makai, Rome, spirit and time. We know temporality refers to time, and we know Elder Kaioshin considers the separate space-time known as the room of spirit and time as a time dimension. Dende emphasizes they're separate here. And you know what these people said? They got another person named Divine Master. In the aspect of dimensional tiering, transfinite numbers work in set orders. Basically, if I have an infinite 2D model, I have X and Y, and I destroy it. It won't be the same as destroying an infinite 3D model, X, Y, and Z. The variable Z allows for a greater subset to be inserted, since higher spatial dimensions carry along characteristics of the lower, depending on the fiction. Care to highlight the buzzwords I'm using ignorantly? And then I think he said, not really. You can literally map every point from an infinite 2D square to an infinite 3D cube with a 1-by-1 correspondence. In fact, you can bijectively map any higher dimensional space R to the power of n to a one number. Now that I'm older and reading this from a different perspective, Roz, I just realized how dumb this sounds. Like, bijection doesn't work like that. If there are more units, then you can actually use the biject, because I said subsets. So you're not bijecting cardinality on an individual set. You're doing subsets. So if there's two different sets of cardinality, let's say Roz holds two infinities, I hold one. Well, yeah, you could biject the one infinity I hold to one infinity he holds, but what about the extra infinity Roz has? Well, you can't factor that in. So Roz holds two values of infinity, which is automatically greater. And the thing is, the x-axis... Yeah, it's so simple! It's so simple! Jeez, I can't believe I really went back and forth with these guys for like a while. How long was I doing that for?
A month. A whole month long you were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to tell you to stop. I was like, chill.
Yeah, then we had RDC Desmond, which is not the real Desmond. I'm not trying to call people out. I'm just saying, like, the argument itself is they're just silly. And it just goes to show. I'm like Ramiro Tempest right here. Like, what? Anyway, I have a lot of things on here, and I just think there's a lot to consider here. Oh, yeah, this pixel scale I did with Zorro, he was able to move his head 39.37 inches. Yeah. To dodge the light speed. I think it gave me 101 point something percent the speed faster than the speed of light. Really cool. Oh, and then when Liu Kang got the as well as his abilities of the gods of Fujin and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then the power released by Blade's destructive reunited Liu Kang's body and soul. Shattering. And then that. Dang, Mortal Kombat is heavily slept on.
Oh yeah, no. The video I'm working on involving a KOFX Mortal Kombat like battle is definitely gonna have me kind of going over that, but in regards to Chronica, though. So
Now, the only Goku I will agree that can actually probably beat Geese, besides Xeno, is I think KOF's unofficial Goku.
oh, well, to be fair, that Goku only exists in like '98, so that's after the Orochi saga.
Oh God, no! Well, rip Goku, because Orochi is canonically still stronger.
Yeah, so I mean, and that would be Super Saiyan 4.
Raj, you know they had the nerve, and this is a B class demon. You know, I had the nerve to say a B class demon in Yu Yu Hakusho's only building level or town level. And
yeah,
you see this scan. You see
yeah.
this scan. It's only town level. And he literally destroys like half of a large mountain, and that was not intended. The dragon just happened to bypass and destroy it and vaporize most of it.
So,
Space
Misfit just asked, where do we scale the King of Fighters?
That will be a secret for another video, but I did say I had to go. So, with that said, 12th dimensional, by the way. Actually, no, 13th dimension. No, actually, 14th dimension. Actually, could be higher. I don't even know yet. We'll talk about it later, though. Bye! All right, guys. So, with all seriousness, though, in all seriousness, I appreciate everyone for coming through the stream. We greatly appreciate your commitment. Moreover, the last thing I want to say is...
Yeah, Andre.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Atari HB. Me and Roz will be signing out. You can meet us in the chat on the Discord, if you so please. And with that said, everyone, have a wonderful day.
Toguro wins.
Likewise to you, Thor. Thank you. Yes.
Peace.
Find out on the next time on Atari Stream. Oh, by the way, you guys like the way I have the little patrons on the bottom and the YouTubers. Thanks, Ross, for being a patron, by the way. And Prince.
No problem.
And thanks, J-Rex, as well. I think, because I wanted to show, like, my gratitude today. I gotta place those days. Okay, but anyway, bye, everyone!
Later!